Welcome to Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Here in chilly Dallas, Texas, the heart of the Lone Star State. It's the Pac-12 versus the Big 12 as West Virginia gets set to tangle with the Utah Utes. Great to have you with us alongside of Renia and Goldia. I am Roy Philpott. Chris Budd joins us down on the field momentarily. And Renia, we're talking about contrasting styles between these two teams. Utah, one of the most physical teams in the country. West Virginia, they want to go on offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest difference. The physicality of Utah up front. I think they're going to try to run it at that 3-3-5 defense of West Virginia, really try to pound it on the ground. And then, of course, West Virginia on offense, three great receivers. We'll see how these bowl practices have helped backup quarterback Chris Chugginoff with his timing with those receivers.
Now, one of those receivers, David Sills, 6'4", 210 pounds, a guy that can beat you in so many different ways. He's physical himself.
So good. 6'4", as you said, Roy. He presents matchup problems for those smaller defensive backs. He can go up, make those high catches. Great hands. You know, he's a former quarterback. He's only been a receiver for a year, but I actually think it helps him. He runs great routes, and he kind of knows what the quarterback is thinking. He's having an outstanding season.
Now, the good news is Sills is healthy. The bad news, Will Grier, the starting quarterback, is out. Broke his finger against Texas back on November 18th, so that means Chris Chugginoff, the backup's got to play well.
Yeah, and for Dana Holgorsen, both these guys, Will Grier and David Sills, will be back next year.
Meanwhile, for the Utah Utes, you're looking at Kyle Whittingham, year number 13. 10-1 in bowl games. This guy's developed a secret recipe for postseason success.
And we asked him about that recipe, and he says he gets physical during his bowl practices. Full pads, he gets after it, and I think that's really the secret to their success.
Zach Moss, a running back, over 1,000 yards this year. He's got the potential to be a pile pusher in his favor. He's been very explosive.
Yeah, when I watch backs on film, Roy, Zach Moss is one of the favorites that I watch. 5'10", 210 pounds. I think it's a great size for a running back. Runs really well behind his pads. He's got great explosion and vision. Exactly what you want in that zone read running back. You know, he's coming off a 196-yard performance last time out against Colorado. Look for Zach Moss to carry it a bunch today.
A punishing running back. Several key players are out today. One key player returns for the Utes. For more on that story, we check in with Chris Budden.
Hi, Roy. The Utes get their quarterback back. Tyler Huntley will start today after missing the last game of the regular season against Colorado with an undisclosed injury. Kyle Whittingham telling me that he's at 100% today, and he's been a full go practice the last couple weeks. So it will be his go today. They also say they do not plan on having any sort of package for backup quarterback Troy Williams.
Chris, thank you very much. A chilly start here in Dallas. Temperatures in the lower 40s. It feels colder than that with an 8-mile-an-hour breeze.
Perfect for football, though, partner.
It is football weather.
That's right.
Great to have you along, and we hope you enjoy this one. It should be a fun ride. Utah won the toss. They deferred. Marcus Sims from inside his own 10. Twisting and turning his way ahead to the 38. Mountaineers will take over. 1st and 10 from their 25. Well, the Mountaineers started the season 5-2. Winless against top 25 clubs. Quarterback Will Grier broke his finger on his throwing hand against Texas back in mid-November. 4th straight bowl game, however, Rainey, and Dana Holgorsen has done a nice job in building this brand. They'd like to kickstart 2018 with a win today.
Yeah, and it sure hurt, obviously, losing Will Grier. Great news, though. He's fine. His finger's going to be okay, and he's going to be back next year with West Virginia.
Chugginoff is the starting quarterback, backing up Will Grier. Deep handoff to Kennedy McCoy. Plays some as a Wildcat quarterback today. He'll net about a yard. Lotalele brought him down for the stop.
Yeah, McCoy's going to be the main man today at running back. See if you can get him going a little bit. Important for West Virginia, although they're a passing team, try to establish some sort of run.
Chugginoff was offered a scholarship at West Virginia after visiting Morgantown in a summertime camp. Way back in 2014, he basically committed the next day, shut down his recruitment. Now will line up as a wide receiver. Right on cue, McCoy out of the Wildcat. Dives across the 40. Donovan Thompson brought him down for a gain of 3.
Yeah, you know, talking to offensive coordinator Jake Spavital from West Virginia, I think we're going to see some Wildcat today, Roy. You can see Kennedy McCoy there, who, by the way, was a former quarterback in high school, so watch for him today. He could throw the ball as well, but going to see some wrinkles out of this West Virginia offense that I think really you didn't see a lot of during the regular season.
Mountaineers are banged up on their offensive line as well. Starting right guard Kyle Bosch is out today. WVU 35% on third down this year as Sills goes in motion. Opening possession of the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl off the back foot. Chugginoff pass is incomplete. Out of rhythm and out of sync on that attempt. 3 and out for the Mountaineers.
Ryan, you talked about right guard Kyle Bosch being out. Yoni Kajus, the big left tackle's out as well. So a couple guys missing up front for West Virginia. And we talked about the timing of Chris Chugginoff. That's the biggest issue for a backup quarterback. And, you can practice that timing all you want in these bowl practices. Once you get out to game speed, it's a different situation.
It'll be Hobbs back deep to receive this punt from Billy Kinney. As he turns it over beautifully. Dangerous catch there by Hobbs. Dives ahead for a short gain. After the 43-yard punt. Now the Utes this year won their first 4 games. Were red hot. Reached number 20 in the AP poll. An 0 for 4 October with a couple of close losses, including against number 18 Washington. And still 4 straight bowls now for Kyle Whittingham in year number 3. And after transitioning to the Pac-12, Reedy, it's taken this team and this program a couple of years to get fully adjusted. But they're close, and they were really close this season.
Well, he said up front they feel really good. They just keep adding some skill position players, some skill pieces, some speed, and they believe they can win the Pac-12.
Here's Tyler Huntley on the zone read, pulls it out. Back from the shoulder injury and with room to run. Dives down short of the 35. It's a gain of 17 on first down. And the dual threat Tyler Huntley is going to be doing this all day.
Well, there's a huge piece in the skill game right there. Tyler Huntley back. He's 100% healthy. You look at his size, 6'1", 190. They like to bulk him up this offseason to about 205. But, boy, he's electrifying with the ball in his hands. Can do it both ways as a dual threat. And we saw the nice run right there.
Utes with a nice pipeline down to South Florida, trying to extract talent from the Sunshine State. First carry for Zach Moss as he twists ahead across the 35. Al Rashid Benton with the stop.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, Tyler Huntley and Zach Moss played high school together in South Florida, Hallandale High School. So, yeah, nice little pipeline for Utah and Kyle Whittingham getting some of these speed guys, as we like to say, from South Florida to come to Utah.
Mari Simpkins also a graduate of Hallandale High School. That was a gain of 4. First possession for the Utes. 3 losses this season by 3 points or less, including a 1-point setback at SC. As Huntley straight ahead will make it third down and short. Benton again the hit. That's a gain of 5.
And you see, it doesn't look like much, but it was a bad snap. And you see the athleticism there of Tyler Huntley to catch that snap, not let it hit the ground, and still get a positive out it, get to a manageable 3rd and 1 here. But you're going to see a snap low, does a nice job, picks his way for a gain.
Huntley injured that shoulder against Arizona back on September 22nd. That's the regular season finale against Colorado. Zone read again. Moss straight ahead with room to run, and there he goes. Zach Moss off to the races, and that'll be a Utah touchdown from 58 yards out.
Man, they're just winning up front, and that's all that is. Great job by the offensive line in the interior. Give it to your back, Zach Moss. We talked about him in the open. He hits the hole exceptionally well. Great blocking up front. Good vision. I love how he felt himself to the right there. Just kind of slid over, squares those shoulders up, hits it, and he's gone.
Matt Gay, winner of the Luke Rose Award, honoring the nation's top kicker. Connects on the extra point, and the Utes strike first. After the longest run of the season for Utah, Zach Moss continues his outstanding work here in the Metroplex. Utah 7, West Virginia nothing. The last time these two teams tangled was in the first indoor major bowl game ever held. Utah's Pokey Allen scored the first touchdown on an 11-yard scamper. Richard Groth and a quarterback found Bill Morley for the 33-yard touchdown as the Utes ran away from West Virginia. 32-6, the final score. Game was played in Atlantic City inside of a convention hall. Back in the day, Reedy.
Well, and no, Roy, I did not play back then, although my style was from back then, so there you go.
Reedy and Goliath, ladies and gentlemen, in the UMass Hall of Fame, punishing running back there. I want you analyzing these backs, and I know you like what you saw from Zach Moss.
Listen, he's just runs behind the pads so well. And listen, it all starts up front. Great offensive line play there for Utah.
Here's Sims from his 10. He's got all kinds of speed, and there he goes, far side. Marcus Sims into plus territory. And a return of 41 yards will set up the Mountaineers with outstanding field position.
And that's two pretty good kick returns already from Marcus Sims. So West Virginia sees something on that return left, but great field position for West Virginia here. Important for them, I think, offensively. Come out, get some continuity, go down, and answer the score of Utah.
The fog rolling in here. Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. It's been a wacky bowl season so far. 2 more games coming up when we're done here in Dallas later today. Both on ESPN. We'll send you up to Detroit for the Quick Lane Bowl. Northern Illinois and Duke. Always a fun time of year. Here's Chugginoff back in at quarterback. And out of the shotgun on first down. Here's Chugginoff. Wants it all, going deep. Pass nearly picked off. Karan White in the area. Booby Hobbs in coverage. Utah's secondary is banged up. We'll give you more on that in just a minute. But Chris, Justin Crawford out today for West Virginia. That's a massive loss in the backfield, isn't it?
He was, as he prepares for the NFL draft. And Dana Holgorsen was very frank about it, telling us that, hey, if your heart's not in it, then we don't want you out here. There's a bunch of younger guys who would rather have your playing time. And if their hearts are in it, we want them out here today.
Crawford gained over 1,000 yards this season. Kennedy McCoy now the Wildcat quarterback. On a speed sweep, he flips it to Sims. Nowhere to run, brought down for a loss of 5. Philip Afia with his stop, and he was in the right place at the right time from his free safety spot.
Well, you're right. Afia, number 2, walks up from that free safety spot. He's on the end of the line. It's just a little jet sweep with the toss action, and Afia shoots through there to make the tackle for the loss.
I'll go into the statistics as a passing attempt. You flip it ahead like that, it prevents any notion of a fumble. Ball becomes dead as soon as it hits the turf. Mountaineers 0 for 1 on third down. Chugging off with all kinds of time, flings it deep, looking for Sills, and nowhere close. And Sills had a step for a moment as the pass sails out of bounds.
Well, great protection by West Virginia, giving Chugginoff all kinds of time in the pocket. But as the ball gets released, as he looks for David Sills, if you notice, 6 white jerseys around David Sills. We're talking about defensive backs. You know, they're going to try to rotate 3-4 DBs in at a time. Morgan Scaly, defensive coordinator, said we need to slow down those wide receivers. You see them there, max coverage by Utah.
A picture perfect start for the Utes to end their season on a winning note. Second 3 and out for the Mountaineers. But a good punt off the foot of Billy Kinney. As it's down inside the 5. More from Dallas in just a second.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Brought to you by Zaxby's. Friends, family, flavor. The Quick Silver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere. And those that live like a pro. GMC.
Teams had a chance to take in a little Texas flavor and partake in a friendly game of Family Feud while here in Dallas. West Virginia, we should note, took home the W with a shutout against the Utes, but always fun in bowl season. You know, it's such a great community service event for all of these bowls, but players get a chance to bond. They're away from their traditional surroundings. It's great.
Tough to get a shutout in Family Feud.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's true. Utes take over. Straight ahead is Huntley on the inside zone. As he keeps it for a gain of 2. Second possession for the Utes.
Yeah, good defense there by West Virginia. And that's what you got to do with Tyler Huntley. You got to keep him inside of you. And when you come from the outside, not let him get to that outside. You got to keep him to that inside shoulder. Nice job. And then come up and make a sure tackle.
We saw the number earlier. Huntley 5-4 as a starter this year. Unseated the senior Troy Williams back in preseason camp. Grab that starting spot. Huntley with all kinds of time, flings it deep and incomplete. Jake Jackson, the intended receiver, from his tight end spot. Make it third down. First pass of the game for Huntley. You know, we were talking with offensive play caller for the Utes, Troy Taylor, and he said, Tyler Huntley's really an interesting guy. he's one of these millennials that is really curious and interested to know how you're doing. And I said, well, what do you mean, Coach? And he says, well, he'll just text me randomly and he'll say, Coach, how you doing?
Yeah.
And Troy Taylor's like, wait a second, why are you texting me, asking me that? I should be doing that to you.
He said it's the only teenager that's ever texted me and asked me how I'm doing.
Big play here on third down for the Mountaineers defense. Out of the shotgun is Huntley. From his own end zone, dumps it off. Pass is caught. That'll move the chains across the 15. A little shake and bake there at the end for Darren Carrington. The Oregon transfer, his first touch of the football, moves the chains.
Yeah, I mean, you see the zone clear, and Carrington just does a little shallow cross, and there's no one in the flat to cover him. Good job by Huntley to put it on him. And Carrington was a little banged up coming in this game. Looks healthy there. Big first down conversion there for the Utes on third down.
Into the 17. Off left side. Some power running. Devontae Henry Cole. Result in a 10-yard gain and a first down. A stop by Mike Daniels.
Another Florida kid, St. Thomas Aquinas. I'm telling you, Utah really is piped in down there to South Florida. They like getting those kids, and you know, usually that's the not good for the Florida kids, the colder weather, but they're getting to Utah and they're playing well.
Henry Cole, a motion out. Inside zone with Moss across the 30. Well, it's interesting how that recruiting connection has been built over the years, going all the way back to the 1990s. That's a gain of 6. And Kyle Whittingham told us this week, hey, we recruit Texas. We've got 11 players from the Lone Star State here. We recruit Florida, South Florida, Dade, and Broward counties. And it's so critical to play well in a bowl game while you're here and in front of a national television audience, rather. It's just a check mark box for the Utes going into 2018. Here's Huntley with time, surveys. Pass is incomplete. Ray Singleton, the intended receiver.
You know, in recruiting, once those connections are made, it doesn't really matter what staff made them. Once they're made and the kids start coming, they're your best recruiters, because they go back home to South Florida or Texas, wherever they're from, and then all of a sudden you start seeing 3, 4, 5 more kids coming from that area, and it just keeps that pipeline going.
Utes are 2 for 2 on third down. They need 4 here to keep this drive alive. 7-0 Utah. We're halfway through our first quarter. The Utes go with the empty backfield. Huntley with all kinds of time across the middle. Pass is caught. It'll be another first down into West Virginia territory. A gain of 23 yards. Kaiser White with a tackle.
And watch this defense from West Virginia and Tony Gibson. They drop back so many people into coverage. They don't rush anyone except 2. But Huntley still finds his receiver. And so if you're going to drop in coverage like that and you can't defend it, that's going to be a long day for you.
Samson Nacua makes his 28th catch of the season. Now from the 44, here's Moss around the right side. A strong finish ushered out of the 35. Flag on the field as well. Kenny Robinson the stop.
And that flag came from the West Virginia bench, and no doubt they were yelling, holding to the line judge over there.
Holding. Offense. Number 79. 10-yard penalty. First down.
A slight favorite in this game. We mentioned the players that are out for West Virginia. And that's a key story. You talk about your starting quarterback, starting running back, and at least 2 offensive linemen. As you see the hole. Siva, the guilty party. That'll back it up. The 48-yard line in Utah territory.
Yeah, whenever you do a little takedown like Agasiva did right there, easy call for the official.
Play action for Huntley with all kinds of time again. Pitch and catch. Singleton lost control. And they'll say that is an incomplete pass.
It's an incomplete pass.
Hakeem Bailey forced it loose.
Yeah, and remember, you know, everyone's looking at home because catch, no catch is the most controversial thing. You got to make what we call a football move. The ball comes in, he comes down, turns up, and then it gets hit, simultaneously comes out. You need indisputable video evidence. I think it's tough to overturn a call like that on the field. I think the officials got it right.
I see you're bringing your A game here today with Rogers Redding in the booth with us, the national coordinator of football officials.
Usually I'm emailing Rogers, but he's in arm's length of me today, so I got to be on my best behavior.
2nd and long. Huntley floats it deep. Pass is incomplete. Carrington Had a step working against Robinson. Critical play coming up for the Mountaineers, 3rd and 18. They need to stop.
Yeah, and listen, you give Utah the underneath stuff. This is that prime down and distance where you'll see a screen pass or a draw. That's fine, but you got to read it, recognize it, and then react to it, come up and make the play, and get the offense your ball back here.
Mountaineers utilizing the 3-3 stack defense. 5 defensive backs on the field most of the game. It's an odd man front. Now they'll show pressure on 3rd and long and then back up. Huntley flings it, looking for Singleton. Pass is incomplete. Bailey in coverage and a big stop for WVU.
Yeah, and it was really man-to-man coverage. Good job by Bailey. They tried to go back shoulder. Good coverage, though. Incomplete. Nice job by that West Virginia defensive unit.
You get the sense West Virginia in search of some sort of spark, something positive to happen outside of the return game and Marcus Sims. Chugunov needs to find himself on this next possession.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That spark needs to come from the offensive unit. Get them going. Just look a little sluggish to start this game.
One of the top punters in the nation, Mitch Wisnowski. Sail that one out of bounds near the 20. The Mountaineers will take over for the 3rd time when we return.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
And welcome back to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. 7-0 Utah out in front of West Virginia. Pac-12 versus Big 12. Chris Budden, Rini Ngolia, Roy Philpott here with you. Great to have you with us. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. What a week it has been for both of these programs. Mountaineers with their 3rd possession and their worst starting field position. White makes the catch ahead of the 35. Boobie Hobbs in coverage, but a positive gain on 1st down. A big possession here for the Mountaineers, Rini.
It is, and it's important staying ahead of the chains. That's a nice pickup on 1st down. Now you're going to see him pick up the pace here. Try to get a little rhythm going. I think that'll help out this West Virginia offense tremendously.
And I think the goal today was to get Chugunov some easy throws early, trying to find his rhythm. Making just his 2nd career start. Here comes the pressure, and down he goes. Back inside the 25. Lotulelei got there and brought him down for the big loss. He'll lose 9.
Yeah, big Lotulelei, one of the team captains, 93. He's one-on-one right up the middle with number 56, Grant Lingenfelter, and he just beats him. And he gets to Chugunov, and when those big hands of Lotulelei get on you, 320 pounds, you're going down.
And Rainey, he's going right over the backup right guard, Lingenfelter, as you talked about, with Kyle Bosch out. It's a huge advantage for the Utes, 3rd and long. Chugunov, more pressure, steps up. He'll buy some time, nobody home. And flung down short of the 25. He's going to lose a yard on 3rd and a mile. Lotulelei again with a stop.
Well, it was Lotulelei with the left arm, Roy. He's actually going to push the offensive lineman for West Virginia into Chugunov and knock Chugunov off balance. Unbelievable strength by Lotulelei. It's just power. That's all you can do. It's powerful.
Utes forcing West Virginia to 3 straight 3-and-outs to start this Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. And he turns it over again beautifully. Hobbs had to get out of the way. Did he touch it? Just for good measure, the Utes recover back at the 25. Utah will take over there. 7-point lead. 'Tis the season for Bowl Mania. We've got 2 more headed your way later today. 5:15 Eastern, Duke and Northern Illinois in the Quick Lane Bowl. Then headed your way at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. 78 years young, the head coach of Kansas State is Bill Snyder, leading the Wildcats against UCLA in the Cactus Bowl. Both games available on the ESPN app. And the big question, will we see Josh Rose in concussion protocol? He wants to play. As of right now, has yet to be cleared. So, tune in and find out what's going on in the Cactus Bowl. The 51-yard punt. Hand off back to the line. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And just straight zone read right there. Good job by that West Virginia defense to recognize David Long getting off the block, making the tackle there.
begins this start just 2 of 7 through the air. You see the total numbers thus far. Big advantage for Utah. Just a touchdown advantage, however, on the scoreboard. Play action on 2nd and 10. Huntley. Tiptoe in the pocket, fling it out to Moss, who's got pretty good hands, his 29th catch of the season. And a gain of 9 will make it 3rd and 1. Tonkery with a stop.
Talking to offensive coordinator Troy Taylor about Zach Moss, one of the things he said, he's gotten much better catching the ball out of the backfield. You see it there, but what a job by Tyler Huntley to scan the field left to right, check it down to his back, who almost picks up the first down there.
Another big play coming up for the Mountaineers defense. Utes 3 for 4 on 3rd down so far. Huntley brought down in the backfield, and he won't make it. David Long got there, brought him down for a 1-yard loss on 3rd and 1. They'll make it 4th and 2, a big stop.
Well, and they just tried to go power. You know, when you snap it to the quarterback and he runs it, it gives you an extra blocker in the formation. But no one blocked number 11, David Long. Great job getting in the backfield, making that tackle.
14 tackle for a loss this season for number 11 in blue and gold.
Yeah, number 48, Cody Ippolito, the fullback for Utah, was supposed to block. Long got underneath him, crossed his face, and made that tackle for the loss.
Wisnowski. So the low line drive. Rolls dead at the 22. The Mountaineers looking for a first down and some momentum on offense. A reminder, the ESPN app is a fan's best friend this bowl season. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or, of course, on the go. Plus scores, news, highlights, access to all the above. Download the ESPN app to start streaming today. Rainey, I know we'll be doing a little bit of that when we get done here to watch the Quick Lane Bowl between Duke and Northern Illinois. On our way to the airport.
When you travel as much as we do, the ESPN app is a must.
Chris Chugginoff. That completion percentage up is a must on this possession. Mountaineers start the season at 5-2. Had some close calls. Will Greer went out. Offense has not been the same. Deep handoff corralled quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. Thompson with the stop. How can they find a way to find some sort of rhythm here?
Well, the thing is, you're missing 2 offensive linemen. We know how stout Utah is up front with Lotalele and Mokafisi up there as well. It's just tough running, but they got to try to get some type of running, and that's why I think you'll see more Wildcat as this game progresses.
And off left side for a short pickup. Chris Button has more. Chris.
Roy, at practice this week, I talked to David Sills, and he says that was the #1 thing they've been working on since the end of the regular season was the timing with Chugginoff. And even as of this week, they did not feel like it was at 100%. They said close, but it's still not quite perfect yet.
Mountaineers 0 for 3 on 3rd down after the game by Elijah Wellman.
And the problem is now you're predictable, right? You're 3rd and long. You gotta throw the ball, and Utah knows that. It makes their defensive call much more easier.
Sensing pressure is Chugginoff. Here it comes from the right side. Now the left. As he flings it deep, and a pass is caught. And that's the big play WVU needed. Into Utah territory for the 2nd time. As Marcus Sims toasted Guidry for a gain of 33.
Yeah, Sims is just running a corner route there. Chugginoff knows he's going to get hit as the blitz is coming, delivers the ball. He throws it back inside. Sims adjusts. Excellent job, makes the catch, and that's that big spark that they needed. We'll see if they can capitalize on that conversion.
Here's Chugginoff, now with tempo. Across the 40, a gain of 6 on 1st down. After the longest play of the afternoon for WVU, Sims makes it 2 for 2 and a nice pickup.
Dan, we talk about the easy throws. If you're Chris Chugginoff, take those completions right there. If Utah's going to give them to you, stay ahead of the chains on 1st down.
Brady, it feels like, WVU has a lot of weapons on the perimeter. If Chugginoff can just get some time, let his receivers do the dirty work as White is sandwiched quickly. Terrell Burgess belts him down after a gain of 1.
I mean, the one thing you want to do, it's not rocket science. If you got good skill players, get the ball in their hands. What to do defensively is to tackle a good player in space, and West Virginia's got a bunch.
Tying down here at a fast-moving first quarter. Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Dana Holgorsen content maybe to let this clock run out and have some extra time to talk about this next play.
That's the end of the first quarter. Timeout.
Now the Utah Utes strike first. Zach Moss from 58 yards out. The difference so far. And a stingy defense as well, getting the job done here inside of Cotton Bowl Stadium. 7-0 Utah, second quarter. Coming up. Welcome back to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Inside of Cotton Bowl Stadium, 7-0 our score. Utah out in front of West Virginia. 15 minutes in the books. Chris Budden, Rini Ngolia, Roy Philpott, great to have you with us. Critical third down upcoming, and Rini, you got to believe West Virginia thinking about 2 downs to pick up these 4 yards. Let's see how it unfolds. Straight ahead, and that theory will be tested. A gain of 1. That'll make it 4th and 3. Luafata-Songa with the stop.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's a no-brainer for Dana Holgorsen here. He goes for it. They don't pick anything up on third down. Little pistol set as they hand it to McCoy. But yeah, you're in that tweener land here. Really started slow in this game. You go for it here.
Mountaineers 75% on 4th down this year, but that's with Will Greer at quarterback. The backup Chugunov is out of the shotgun this time. Flanked by McCoy on 4th down, this time with time. And down the field. Pass is going to be caught. That'll move the chains. Outstanding grab by Gary Jennings, his first reception of the afternoon. And one of the biggest this season for number 12 in blue and gold. Yeah, and Chugunov, I think, is more comfortable with Gary Jennings. That's the go-to guy. And watch how Jennings goes up and high points here. Good job to go up, secure it. You know, Terrell Burgess, the corner was coming over, really didn't play him. I thought he was going to go up and try to play that ball. He doesn't. Jennings goes up, makes that catch, and a huge first down for the Mountaineers. Second team all Big 12. A leaping grab to keep the drive alive, this time towards Sills in the end zone. Double coverage. And nothing doing. Now Sills has 18 touchdowns, all coming basically in the first 10 games this year since Greer's injury. He's been held out of the end zone. First team all Big 12 performer. Of course, the famous story. Recruited by Lane Kiffin as a quarterback, offered as a 7th grader back in the day, and has blossomed into one of the best receivers in the nation. And he's coming back next season as well, which was a big get for Dana Holgorsen for 2018. McCoy now the Wildcat quarterback straight ahead. A nice pickup on second down. And talking to Dana Holgorsen about the early recruiting, you know, they signed 20 guys, and he said, but his #1 targets, he was happy with the fact that Will Greer, David Sills, and Yoni Kajus are coming back. So he's got 3 veterans coming back. He said once that happened, he was happy, and they went out and they signed a really good class in this early signing period, first year of it. West Virginia does a great job over the years recruiting the junior college ranks, also down in South Florida as well. Pistol formation, play action, end zone, and that one sails out of bounds. Sills in the area, but nowhere close. Heavy pressure up the gut. And there's the timing and feel between quarterback and receiver. That time, David Sills cuts it off shallow. Chugunov thinks he's going to the back of the end zone as Chugunov stays in there and takes a big hit. Just too much pressure up the middle once again. But, you know, that timing and rhythm between quarterback receiver, very important and very hard to rectify that in, you know, 10 or 15 bowl practices. That was your guy, Lotulelei, again, number 93. You might want to get another hat on him, maybe a little double team. 4-time All Pac-12 performer. Evan Staley on for the 28-yard field goal that's good. And West Virginia on the scoreboard. 13:09 remaining in our first half. Mountaineers trail it by 4. Different head coaches currently active have claimed national championships. Nick Saban, of course, with 5. Jimbo Fisher, well, Gave him 75 million reasons to go to Texas A&M, but he did claim that title with Florida State. And, of course, Dabo Swinney, who's going to be on SportsCenter later tonight with Clemson, trying to repeat and square off against Bama in the upcoming Sugar Bowl. The playoff this year, as compelling as it's ever been with the trilogy and then SEC-style defense, it's been rock solid in Georgia. Kick return brought back across the 25. Mari Simpkins.
Now, as we get later into the game, I'm going to ask you your prediction. I know the answer to it already.
I'm not giving you any predictions, but I'll analyze things for you. How about that?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Doing your best impersonation of Tom Ramsey right there, trying to just paint me into a corner. I'll tell you what, great start for the Utah Utes. 58-yard touchdown by Zach Moss. The difference in this one, West Virginia was 67 yards on that last drive after just -4. The better part of the first quarter. Play action, Huntley. Pass is caught. It's Carrington. Brings it across the 35. They'll give him 10. That'll move the chains.
Well, and we talk about Tyler Huntley and his athleticism, but boy, he can zip it. You see it right there on that slant pattern to Carrington. He can really get it out, spin it.
I think the key with Huntley entering next season is putting on some good weight. He's 6'1", 190. They want him closer to 200, maybe 205, to be able to absorb some of the collisions he's going to encounter in the Pac-12. Little RPO, pass is incomplete. He's trying to spot his tight end, Faka'i Tonga, across the middle. 4 for 10 today for just 53 yards, but you can tell he's got a good control of the offense, and he's only going to get better as well.
Well, he's a competitor, and the coaches said he also needs to understand when to get out of bounds, when to get down. Don't absorb those unnecessary hits, and I think he's learned a lot this season, and they bulk him up, and with his experience, he's going to have a great career ahead of him at Utah. Only a sophomore.
Adding good weight, making better decisions. Here's a little trickeration. The toss back to Huntley. Looking deep down the field. Pass incomplete. Jake Jackson should have had it at the 25. And like a center fielder, he was just waiting for the ball to hit the glove, and that time it just popped right out.
Well, Huntley had 2 receivers deep, only 1 defender for West Virginia, so he says, what the heck, I'm throwing it up, and rightfully so. And his receiver, Jake Jackson, just drops it, hits him right in the breadbasket. He got to make that catch, and that's 2 plays in a row, because the RPO play before that, he had his receiver open as well and just couldn't connect. So that's 2 incompletions for Utah. Now you're behind the chains at 3rd and 10.
Here comes pressure from the Mountaineers defense. Play with 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and an all-out blitz. Huntley surrounded and brought down. The pressure pays off. Xavier Preston got there first, Reaney. And you can feel momentum starting to change hands in this game rather quickly. That's a loss of 11.
And that's defensive coordinator Tony Gibson saying, we are sending everything and the kitchen sink at Tyler Huntley on 3rd and 10, and they get to him and get to him in a hurry. And that's what you need to do. Get to him, corral him, and get him down. Now you see a little life out of West Virginia, especially defensively.
Wisnowski back on to punt this one away.
But, give some thanks to the Utah wide receivers. They had a couple drops in that possession there, which could have really turned it the other way.
Heavy pressure on the punt. Sims waves for the fair catch. 39-yard punt, and the Utes with life and possession of the football here in Dallas when we return.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, brought to you by Allstate, official protector of college football fans, and the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now through January 2nd.
Now, both teams had a chance to help out the community here in Dallas. The Dallas Fire Department, the Red Cross, helping install smoke detectors in local homes. Always good to give back, and a great job here by the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl honoring our first responders. A big thank you in both end zones here at the historic Cotton Bowl Stadium. 7-3 our score. Rennie Ingoglia, Chris Budd, and Roy Philpott. A little foggy atmosphere. The heart of the Metroplex.
Definitely chilly here in the Metroplex. The rain's holding off, though. The weatherman said it would come.
It was supposed to rain as WVU takes over with new life. Chuganov's completed 4 of his last 6. Inside give to McCoy. Hit hard short of the 40. Bradley Anae with the stop after a gain of 6. And West Virginia starting to find some rhythm. Dana Holgerson running the show on offense. A couple of punts early, the field goal, and 67 yards of total offense in the last possession.
When you get 4 or 5 yards on first down, it helps out the offense tremendously. It opens up the playbook for you, especially for an offense like West Virginia.
This time out of the pistol. Fake the handoff. Gary Jennings' second catch. That'll keep the drive alive. Right in front of Guidry. It's a gain of 10.
Man, great hands by Jennings. Strong hands. And you saw Chugginoff quick release there. It was a little bit behind Jennings, but all good receivers make those catches with their hands right there. A little bobble, but he brings it in nice and strong. Prevents it from getting raked down. And it's a first down.
And Jennings, the best in the country, nearly 8 catches per ball game. From the 48, Chugginoff. The hot hand pass is incomplete, looking for Sims. Booby Hobbs disrupted that pattern. Well, 5 minutes into our second quarter here at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Here inside a historic Cotton Bowl Stadium. So many big-time games have been played here. Of course, the Red River rivalry contest between Texas and Oklahoma. Mainstay in this facility. Cotton Bowl now is actually played over in Arlington. Home of the Cowboys. Jerry's World, as everybody likes to call it. Flung deep for Sims. I think that's Sills. And in double coverage, Fia was able to break that one up.
And that's what you got to do when you're playing that safety position like Philip Afia did right there. Make up ground when that ball's in the air. So they try to get it to their big receiver, David Sills, but Afia comes over to make sure it's incomplete.
Mountaineers 1 for 6 on third down. Really kind of since they battled back to the point to where you were kind of questioning what's this thing going to look like early. Chance to do some damage here. Chugginoff will change the play. Pocket breaks down. Sent across the middle in the seam. Nearly picked off. Mokafisi got there first and knocked down a West Virginia quarterback, and that one hurt.
Yeah, that was a huge hit on Chugginoff. Clean hit, but huge. Stands in that pocket. Takes the big hit. The ball almost intercepted. But nonetheless, the Utah defense holds and will get the ball back.
West Virginia playing without 2 offensive linemen today. That's an issue. Also a backup quarterback, backup running back. Injuries all over the place. And after the 4th punt of the afternoon for West Virginia, this one for 38 yards. Utes will take over from their own 15, and Chugginoff has got some work to do. Another hard collision. Now, Bowl Mania rolling nicely along Wednesday. We got 3 more games right here on ESPN. 1:30 Eastern. Southern Miss, Florida State. 5:15 Iowa, Boston College. And Texas and Missouri in the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. 9 o'clock Eastern. All headed your way Wednesday. All 3 games on the ESPN app as Utah takes over. Tyler Huntley left side for a 2-yard gain. The last 2 possessions, we've seen a different Mountaineers defense. More pressure from Tony Gibson, and not to mention more dominance up front with their front 3.
Definitely being more aggressive. They're getting to the ball carriers of Utah, and they're wrapping them up. And I just think you have to do that. The problem is, though, when you start getting aggressive, if someone doesn't do their job and you leave a seam, that's when it comes out the back door, and it's a big gain.
Utes have also had a couple of key drops. Huntley play action. Across the middle, pass is caught. Darren Carrington continues his good work. You know, the irony with Carrington signing with Utah as a graduate transfer from Oregon. He defeated the Utes in the previous year on a last-second touchdown pass. Willie Taggart took over in Eugene and really wasn't quite on the same page with number 9 in white now for Utah. So they waived the no transfer rule within the Pac-12. Huntley straight ahead. Carrington's done a great job this year. 2nd team, all Pac-12. And Rini, you really feel like he's got a chance at the next level after that 5-yard pickup by Huntley.
Yeah, and he's got a good frame on him as well. 6'3", 205 pounds. He's got good hands, runs good routes, very experienced receiver. And he's the type of player that's going to get a shot next year on Sundays.
Confusion. So they'll swing it out. It's Troy McCormick who just checked in. He's going to lose a couple of yards. And Dylan Tonkery sniffed that one out from the get-go.
Yeah, another one of the RPO plays. They go wide that time, but good pursuit from that West Virginia defense.
7-3 ball game, nearly halfway through our second quarter. At the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, 3rd down upcoming for the Utes. Utes need the 43, and Huntley pressured again and brought down by Kaiser White to force another punt. The second sack of the afternoon for West Virginia.
That's a great blitz by Kaiser White. He disguises it perfectly, comes up at the last moment. The offensive line is already engaged in blocking, no one to pick up White, and he gets to Huntley for the sack.
Now West Virginia's defense, Tony Gibson maligned after that 59-point outburst by Oklahoma in the regular season finale. And, you know, he told us this week, we want to be aggressive. We got a bitter taste in our mouth, and we're not going out like that.
Yeah, and he said point blank, they were embarrassed. It was a long 30 days, and they were glad they had another game to play in.
And contact with Mitch Wisnowski, the punter. Punt was muffed. And West Virginia, after a nice defensive stand.
Running on the kicker, defense number 38, penalty decline, 1st down.
Mountaineers will take over inside their 15. ACC officiating crew today, led by the great Jeff McConaughey.
And you're going to see the running into. Good job by the punter to give him a little Emmy on that one.
Well, I mean, there was contact there, my friend.
Listen, that's what, and you should as a punter. You get that contact, you should go down. And of course, we had the muff though, and they gave the ball to Utah. And it was definitely a muff. I mean, Marcus Sims, a return man, tried to get out of the way. It was odd. He didn't have his hands up. He tried to turn his body.
The ruling on the field was a running into the kicker. A penalty decline. Recovery of Utah, 1st down. The ruling on the field is under further review.
All right, so our first booth review today.
Yeah, and I had a good look at it. As Sims tries to get out of the way, it looked to me like the ball hits him in the shoulder, and I think the officials got it right on the field. We'll get another look at it right there.
There is a degree of subjectivity that's involved in a call like this because it looked like it hit his shoulder. Can you say that beyond a shadow of a doubt? The ball did change trajectory, so I would tend to agree.
I can't. Yeah, I was going to say I can't because that first look I had, you saw the patch actually move, which means the ball hit it. So I think this will be a quick booth review.
Cody Barton made the recovery. And as it ricocheted off Sims' shoulder, and we're thinking about it as being a muff punt. And then the officials actually signaled 1st down the opposite way, indicating that maybe West Virginia recovered, but the Utes did get it back.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. 1st down.
And a good call by our ACC crew.
And remember the verbiage, he used the word confirm, which means the booth agrees that they unequivocally got it correct on the field.
Well, we have Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials, in the booth with us this afternoon. Rogers, how did you see it?
Yeah, they got it right. You could clearly see that the ball hit his shoulder. The ball clearly changed the direction. And so the booth felt like that they had absolute evidence that that was right. So it was confirmed as the right call.
First turnover of the contest. Huntley, a nice move, and on the jump cut, goes inside the 5, close to a 1st down, a gain of 9. Kenny Robinson whiffed on that attempted tackle in the pocket.
And you heard us both talk a couple times today how they want to beef up Tyler Huntley, and that's why. I mean, he's dangerous in the running game, but when you're going to be carrying the ball like that, you're going to take a lot of hits. You're going to take a pounding, so you just want to get as much muscle on that frame as you can, and that's why the coaches told us a couple times this week Want to bulk them up this offseason.
Utes will bring in their power formation here as Harrison Handley checks in. And a 2 tight end set. Low snap. Huntley corrals it. Somehow handed it off to Moss. Only needed about a yard to pick up the first down. He got there and then some. So it'll be 1st and goal for Utah on a play that could have ended in disaster.
Well, and usually the quarterback keeps that ball, but Zach Moss goes, no, I'm carrying it. And he kind of rips it out of his hand. He takes it and he puts those shoulders down and picks up the first down. But you're right, could have been disaster. But I love what Zach Moss does right there. Not only does he get the handoff, he secures it. He's not running the ball like Charlie Brown. He gets it high and tight in that left hand, lowers those shoulders, and powers it through, and it's 1st and goal for the Utes.
Was that a Charlie Brown reference right there?
It was. You know, sometimes the ball's kind of upside down in their hands up. He had it fixed nice, high and tight.
1st and goal for Utah. They'll fake the toss to Moss, and it's wide open for Huntley. Well, that'll be the easiest touchdown of his career on a brilliant play call from Troy Taylor, the OC. And the Utes extend their lead.
It really was. You had Jake Jackson, the tight end, out in front as well, sealing it. Offensive lineman Agasiva out there with a kick-out block. And Huntley literally walks into the end zone untouched. Just a great job up front by the offense. Great play call. And that's how you capitalize when you get a turnover.
Matt Gay has been perfect this year in the extra point department. Luke Rose Award winner. Right between the pipes. As the Utes now with their largest advantage of 11. Under 6 to play in the first half. Tyler Huntley, just a sophomore. The best is yet to come. An outstanding touchdown run here. Back at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, and Chris Chugunov running for his life so far this afternoon. The 2 seniors anchoring Utah's defensive front, Filippo Mokafisi and Lowell Lotolole, have been all over number 5 in blue and gold, making just his second career start. 620
pounds of beef coming at you right there from those 2 men, and they are making it miserable for Chris Chugunov thus far today.
And Kyle Whittingham told us yesterday, I asked him, you've got a couple of seniors on this team, which 1 or 2 maybe epitomize Utah football? He singled out those 2 without hesitation, and so far they've big impact players. As we check in again with Chris Button. Chris.
Well, Chris Chugunov certainly feeling those hits on the sidelines. I've been watching him, and he's limping, favoring that right leg. He has not received any treatment yet, but it's not walking kind of gingerly around that right leg.
That's an issue right now because they're trying to redshirt David Israel. Will Greer, the starting quarterback, is out, and so Chugunov can't go.
Well, and you don't blow a redshirt today. You go ahead and go Wildcat the entire game if that happens. And a lot of times it's not even the hit you get, it's that 300 pounds coming down on you after they hit you, and I think that's what's hurting Chugunov today.
Martell Pettaway checking in the West Virginia backfield for the first time. Chugunov stays in there. Facing a 5-man front. Pettaway keeping those legs churning. Grind out a couple of yards, give him 3. Mokafisi with a stop. 2nd and 7 upcoming. Well, an important drive for West Virginia, obviously, considering now the 2-score disadvantage.
And you just want some momentum, too, with coming up on 5 minutes left in this half. Get something going, get that momentum in the halftime with you in the locker room.
Approaching 5 minutes to play here in our first half. Chugunov loads it up deep, looking for Sims. Double coverage. Nearly picked off by Boobie Hobbs. Sills not in the area, but Marcus Sims has been involved in a couple of plays deep down the field.
And Boobie Hobbs is a senior, and talking to Morgan Scaley, he told us yesterday he needs to step up and play well in this game. And nice job there, high pointing. Can't come up with the interception, but a nice job to break up that play.
Now Boobie Hobbs stepping in as Utah's defensive backfield's been banged up. Missing 3 starters today. On 3rd and long, they'll set up the screen for McCoy. Nowhere to run, and ushered out of bounds at the 20. Another 3 and out, and who else? Lotolele again Sniffed that one out from the get-go.
I mean, it's not that fair when you're 320 pounds and you can move like Lotalele does right there. And you're right. He read the screen, he reacted to it, and he had the speed to get there as well. I mean, he's playing a whale of a ball game thus far.
The Utes defense has been rock solid thus far. Hobbs will let it bounce. And the Mountaineer roll finally be blown dead. Back at the 32. Punt of 47 yards. So we check in with the studio, and the A-team is back. Adnan Virk has more. Adnan.
I don't know about this A-team you're talking about, Roy, but we'll do our best. Coming up in the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, Emmanuel Acho, Jonathan Vilma, and me. Josh Rosen, will he play tonight for UCLA? We'll discuss. Plus, back to school for Chip Kelly. What kind of success is realistic for Chip back with the Bruins? All that more coming up to have. Roy, back to you. You're my A-team.
Hey, we got nothing but love for you, my friend. Thank you very much. I want to see Josh Rosen tonight.
Yeah.
The concussion protocol, he spins it as well as any quarterback in the country, Reedy. And tell you what, he's got all kinds of potential. Could be the #1 pick in next April's draft. But I think scouts, fans, everybody wants to see one more game.
And the good thing about concussion protocol, Roy, it's pretty cut and dry. You're either going to pass it or you don't. So when they do that final test, if they say he can go, he'll go.
Zach Moss, the carry. Gain of a yard, maybe a yard and a half. Well, you think about Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. I think we're looking at 4 first-round draft picks at the quarterback position at least next April.
And the fact that Will Grier got hurt, I understand that. But you think that played into his decision to come back to West Virginia next year as well?
Absolutely it did. Yeah, there's more money to be made after next season at quarterback. Huntley, the pump fake. Feeling confident. Flings it across to Simpkins, his high school teammate, who's brought down at the 46. Tonkery with the stop, but that's a gain of 11 and a first down.
And just too much time for Tyler Huntley there. And, you know, so when West Virginia doesn't dial up blitzes, they can't get to Huntley, and he's just sitting back there scanning the field left to right. And that time he went all the way across his progressions and gets it to Simpkins, as you said, his former high school teammate, for the first down.
Utes recruiting like a national brand off the RPO, and Huntley misread that one. Tonkery with the sack, a loss of 6 yards. And you talk about the complexity of these offenses. Sometimes you're thinking pass, you're thinking run, then you switch back to pass, and WVU tricked him.
Yeah, well, no one kicks out to block Tonkery, and he shoots off the edge like a missile, and he does the most important thing. Once he got to Tyler Huntley, he wrapped him up and made sure he took him to the ground.
Third sack for West Virginia, trailing by 11, under 3 to play in our first half. Tonkery, just a freshman. Both of these teams extremely young. They've got high expectations for next year. A hard hit at the 46. And Moss spun around, added on 4 more yards.
Boy, and I love that, right? Big collision from the running back, spins around, but where does he end up, Roy? He keeps going forward for another 2 or 3 yards. I'd love to see that out of running backs.
Trayvon Askew Henry may have gotten the worst of that hit. Troy Taylor talked with us about Zach Moss, and I just asked him, I was like, give me a nugget or two of maybe what this guy is like. And he said, well, tell you, Reedy, Chris, Roy, you watch him, he shows flashes of being able to win the Heisman Trophy, and then at times he looks lost. And second part of the season, he was obviously rock solid on third down. There's a catch. Ray Singleton. All the way down to the 10-yard line. And you talk about perfect touch on the long ball. We saw it there for a gain of 40.
And Singleton is that deep threat for the Utes. And one-on-one coverage on the outside. He's going to give a little bite inside. Nice. He gets to the outside. And then the touch from Tyler Huntley over the top. And a big pickup for Utah.
Well, it's not fair to be that athletic and that precise with a deep pass. Singleton, just a junior. He's from Texas, near Houston. So a bit of a homecoming this week for the Utes. Moss try to extend that play, and really nothing doing as he's sent out short of the 10. Impressive half so far for Utah Arena. It goes without saying given the score, but Utes are doing it on both sides.
It has, yeah. I've been impressed up front on both sides of the ball for Utah. You know, the big defensive linemen really controlling the line of scrimmage, then offensively doing a nice job moving the ball in that run game, you know, led by Tyler Huntley in that zone read game.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 upcoming. Time winding down here in our first half. The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Good start for Kyle Whittingham. 10-1 in bowl games in his Utah career after taking over in 2005. Huntley corrals it, flings it end zone and incomplete. Faka'iloa Tonga, they tied in. Was the lone route runner on that side of the field. Some problems on the snap today.
I was saying that's the one thing we've seen, a couple low snaps, and that'll just get you out of rhythm, and you're kind of running for your life there. But good job by Huntley once he secured that snap. Really just threw that ball away. Live for another down, especially when you're in scoring position as you are here in the red zone. Yeah, obviously you want to score a touchdown, but at the very least come away with 3.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining, and now one will be utilized here. Mountaineers.
Timeout, West Virginia. It's going to be a 30-second timeout.
And don't forget, coming up Friday, we'll have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium over in Arlington. Sam Darnold, number 8 USC, square off against JT Barrett, 5th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. And tell you what, pick your poison between those 2 signal callers. Barrett's been in Columbus forever. Darnold is going to be a top 10 pick, we believe, next April. It's going to be a lot of fun for 2 teams that could have been in the
Virginia's
playoff.
first timeout.
Yeah, you're right. What a great matchup. I mean, a lot of people would say this is the best New Year's 6 game outside of any in the playoff, and boy, it's going to be a good one.
Now the emergence of Ohio State's offense this year with Kevin Wilson taking over the play calling. Longtime Indiana head coach with Oklahoma ties. It's been a nice addition, and Ohio State fell just short of the mark. And by the way, I agree with the committee. Alabama over Ohio State for that number 4 pick on the Crimson Tide with just that 1 loss at Auburn. Had a more impressive resume. And I'll go the eye test route there, too.
No, you have to. I do, too. I'm with you, Roy. I agree. I think the committee got it right. And that's why we love college football so much, because we can argue about it, right? Except we're not, because we're agreeing.
Well, that's correct. Utes are 4 of 8 on 3rd down after the WVU timeout. Here's Huntley looking for the back corner. Pass incomplete. Harrington, intended target, Askew Henry in coverage. And a big stop for WVU's defense to try to keep this a 2-possession game.
Yeah, good pressure that time by West Virginia. When they're dialing up blitzes and they get to Huntley, even if they're not sacking him, they're forcing him to pass the ball before he wants to. Good coverage on the back end, and you're right. Get out of here with a field goal attempt here for Utah.
And Matt Gay, the best kicker in the country, has been automatic this season. Really from any distance, 5 of 6.
30-second timeout, Utah. Their first
over
timeout.
50 yards this year. His 29-yard effort come after this next timeout. Won the Luke Rosa Award as the nation's top place kicker. Kyle Whittingham's developed a lot of these guys. Punters, kickers, special teams. About as good as you will find. And what a weapon Matt Gay has been as a football player that really came to Utah. Never having played the sport, was more of a soccer star before he transferred in.
Yeah, and he's from Utah, right down the road. And, you know, Kyle Whittingham coaches special teams. A lot of people don't know that. We asked him yesterday, you know, do you work with the kickers? And I think Chris asked him, do you work with their form? He goes, nope, I don't. They're like golfers. I don't mess with them. If they have a problem, we'll send something to their kicking coach and tell them to look at it.
And it's good to know what you know and not try to pretend like you know more. The kicking can be such a mental game as well. 29-yard effort by Gay is good to extend that Utah lead back to 14. Chris Button has more. Chris?
It's such a great story how Gay got to Utah, because he had very little football experience. He was at Utah Valley College, and a friend of Whittingham's called him up and he said, hey, I know someone just 45 minutes away. Give him a shot. So Gay walks on. He lost out on the starting job at the beginning of the season to Chaden Robinson after fall camp. So, sorry, Johnson got the first kick during the season. He missed that, so that gave Gay a chance. And then Gay went on to make 14 straight, and the job was his. He plays for his best friend in high school. His name was Parker Overly. He died this past April, and every game this season, Matt Gay has worn his initials on his wrist. He credits Overly for the reason that he wanted to get into football.
Well, sad story indeed, but Gay has been solid this year for the Utes. Beyond that, as the nation's top kicker. And he's just a junior, so he'll be back next year. And a nice weapon to have as Pac-12 play gets back underway in 2018. From the 15, Martell Pettaway. 10 yards on the return. Now the Mountaineers with make that with just 2 timeouts remaining. 64 seconds. I have a chance to try to get back on the scoreboard. How aggressive do you get here trailing by 14?
You got to be careful, right? You're down 14. You're not out of this game by no means at all. But what you don't want to do is make any mistakes here with the ball backed up to your end. Now they're at the 25-yard line, so they got a little wiggle room here. So I think on first down, you try to pop something high percentage, try to get some more breathing room, and then go quick. And they have the offense to do that. So we'll see what they call here on first down. But a different set here as Chugginoff goes out to wide receiver.
McCoy, the Wildcat quarterback. They'll fake the jet sweep. And then back to McCoy. Pass is ruled incomplete.
Well, it's a good call by the center judge, who's right there. That throw that came back was forward, that second throw. That's why he was being so emphatic with his signal of incomplete. It was a forward pass, because that could have been a disaster there for West Virginia.
Well, a lot happening in that sequence. You could also see the frustration on the face of Dana Holgorsen in year number 7 in Morgantown. He's just not playing with a full deck of cards, with the injuries, with the loss of Justin Crawford, who's getting ready for the National Football League draft. They got to find a way to generate some kind of offense. They're still in the game, but also still lacking that true spark. 2nd and 10 inside handoff. Nothing doing. Otalele there. Already a couple of stops behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you know, I'm almost surprised now that it's 3rd and long. Kyle Whittingham didn't take a timeout there with 2 left.
About a 12-second difference between the play clock and the game clock.
Yeah, so without Utah taking a timeout there, now you see what West Virginia, they just want to get into the house here. They'll use this entire play clock here and then try to convert here on 3rd and long.
Big play the first half. Muff punt from Marcus Sims. Long scoring run. Sims this time the intended receiver and was wide open near the 40-yard line. Chugginoff out of rhythm. Mountaineers just 1 of 9 on 3rd down.
Well, you're right. The corner fell down. Hobbs, and the safety was in the middle of the field, couldn't get over. And if Sims catches this ball, he's going in for a touchdown. But you said it, Roy, that timing just hasn't been there between Chris Chugginoff and his receiving corps.
And Chugginoff's been running for his life a good bit of this first half, has absorbed a couple of hard hits. Clearly that impacting that throw as well. Kenny punts it away. Hobbs from his 24. A nice cut. Booby Hobbs. Far side, and with time running out. Should be the final play of our first half. There is a flag on the field after a 25-yard return. We'll check the penalty.
And that's in the area of a block in the back. As Hobbs bounced out that way.
During the return, legal block in the back. Return team number 54. Penalties decline. That is a half.
So the Utes out of the Pac-12 will take a 17-3 halftime advantage into the locker room. Here in the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. We send you back to the studio.
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
And welcome back to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. The Chili Metroplex 17-3 our score. Utah leading West Virginia. Advantage Pac-12 so far. Great to have you along as always. Chris Budden on the sideline, Rene Ngolia, Roy Philpott, and West Virginia just 81 total yards in the first 2 quarters. Mountaineers in search of a spark.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the difference. I think that interior defensive line play for Utah has really shut down West Virginia. You talked about the 81 yards, only 3 first downs. They got to get something going, but it has to be through the running game to really open up that passing game.
Meanwhile, for Utah, Tyler Huntley has been phenomenal as we take a look at our player spotlight brought to you by Bright House Financial. And Huntley's been doing it on the ground. He's been doing it through the air. He's been very calm and poised in the pocket thus far.
You're right. He's a true dual threat quarterback, but you're right. Very good in the pocket, scans the field. He's got a quick delivery.
Now the Utes will receive our second half kickoff. Needless to say, Mountaineers need a stop They could force a turnover. That would be the icing on the cake. Temperatures plummeting here in Dallas. Feels just about like freezing, according to our weather friends. Start this second half. And after muffing the kick return, brought down inside the 5, Chris Button caught up with Dana Holgorsen before halftime. Chris, what do you have?
Yeah, well, he basically chuckled at me when I asked, how do you get the passing game going? He said, first off, we need better pass protection. We have to give Chris Chugunov a little bit more time. He said, for Chris also, though, I need him to settle down a bit. He said, the problem is he's the only quarterback I got. So I also had to call some things that protect him a little bit more. I asked what would happen if Chugunov were to go down, and he said, Wildcat, Wildcat, Wildcat. We run the ball until this thing's over.
So the Utes take over inside their 10. Huntley out of the shotgun on first down as Moss. Near side run. A nice spin move and keeps that play alive for a gain of 9. Well, Moss rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. Had the game's first touchdown today from 58 yards out. And kind of was quiet after the fact.
Yeah, and they really want to try to get him going more consistent. He had the big run, but get him going a little more consistent here in the second half. And that's a good start with that run.
93 yards thus far for number 2 in white. Utah at 6-6, West Virginia at 7-5. Two teams that lost a bunch of close ball games this year. Mountaineers injury riddled, especially on offense, as Moss needed 2. He picks up 2.5. Was stopped by Long, but that'll move the chains. Now, Utah in particular, with the win here today, you improve to 7-6 if they hold on to this lead. But you go back to the SC game, the Washington contest.
What it could have been, yeah.
They had a touchdown lead with 2 minutes to go against UW, couldn't hold on to it. And then SC on the road went for 2 and a chance to win it. Late stages of the fourth quarter came up just short. Not to mention a 3-point loss to Stanford early in the season. And many of these stars for the Utes this year return next season.
Well, as you said, they end up 6-6. Could have easily been 9-3. And it was funny, you know, talking to Kyle Whittingham about momentum going into next year. And he said, it doesn't matter when you win. And we asked him, you know, winning a bowl game doesn't give you momentum. He said he did a study, and it just matters about the record that year as opposed to when you win them. So kind of interesting there.
But it does feel better for the team.
I think so, yeah.
If you exit the postseason with a victory. Injured Ute offensive lineman near the 21. Paolo, sophomore from Sacramento. That's Darren Paolo. And with a timeout on the field, we step aside as well in the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Utah leading West Virginia 17-3. Back at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Chris Button, Rini Angolia, Roy Philpott on hand as we take a look now. The Bowl Challenge Cup brought to you by Progressive. And so far, so good for Conference USA. But Power 5 leagues really yet to kind of take their shot at trying to win this one. And, of course, the conference with the best record upon completion of the bowl season will win the Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup from ESPN. We'll see how it shakes out with the ACC, SEC. Big Ten will have something to say about it.
The Power 5s are really getting to go today in this one.
Pac-12 versus Big 12 here. Advantage Pac-12 thus far. Second down upcoming for the Utes. And Huntley with a nice pocket. Right up the middle. It'll be about a yard short of first down yardage.
And there's that experience we talked about, knowing when to get down and not take an unnecessary hit. And Huntley did it there. Almost picks up the first down, goes down. But, of course, good scramble. Gets it to a much manageable down and distance here, third and a long one here.
Yeah, OC Troy Taylor told us that's the next step for Tyler Huntley. Kyle Whittingham, his head coach, backed it up. Utes 4 of 9 on third down so far. Huntley on the zone read. Executes it to perfection across the 40, slung down at the 44. Trayvon Askew Henry with a stop, but not before Huntley picked up 16.
And it's just a great decision by Tyler Huntley. You put it in the belly of your back. Zach Moss, pull it out. You have a tight end come around and lead block for you in Harrison Hanley, and it's just a nice execution.
It's been a workmanlike effort so far for the Utes. Huntley, Corral, brought down. And he's going to lose at least 6 yards on the play back at the 39. David Long has had himself quite a performance so far with a sack.
Well, 69, Lo Falamaka doesn't really step out, and the defensive lineman Rose comes right through there along with David Long, number 11, for that sack.
And Long banged up after he twisted Huntley down awkwardly. Fourth sack of the afternoon for WVU. Mountaineers have been battling injuries, missing a lot of key weapons today. Long, just a sophomore out of Cincinnati. West Virginia does a great job recruiting not only around the state. I mentioned earlier the junior college ranks. Dana Holgerson has found a lot of gems. South Florida. Long Jr. appears to be okay, but it's going to require some assistance.
We've seen this West Virginia defense have success at times today against Utah when they've dialed up those blitzes. They've done a nice job getting to Huntley.
Gave up 59 points in the regular season finale against Oklahoma. Tony Gibson, the DC defensive play caller, emphatically said this week, that is not how we're going to go out. When they've applied pressure, it's worked, and perhaps a scoop and score, a pick six, something along those lines needs to happen tonight.
Well, it's really like a sellout. I mean, I think you just have to keep selling out defensively, putting pressure. But, of course, you play with fire when you do that, because one guy misses assignment, and it's out the other end for a big play.
Darius Qualls checks in for the injured David Long. Empty backfield for Huntley. He'll set up the screen. McCormick has it. They're going to rule it incomplete back to the 35 on a play that appeared to be doomed from the get-go. Bring up third and long.
You know, they try to run tunnel screen, and that time Tyler Huntley threw it just a skosh behind his receiver. That play, boy, it's feast or famine when you run tunnel screen. Everything's got to be perfect. You said didn't look good. Throw was behind him, and it goes for naught.
Mountaineers only trail by 2 possessions here, so they still have a chance. Need a stop right here and right now. 3rd and 15 for Utah. Here comes the 5-man pressure. Huntley loops it, looking for Singleton, and it's incomplete. Mike Daniels did a nice job just to break that one up at the last possible second.
Boy, and he had Singleton. The ball's underthrown. Singleton comes back. The Utah bench wanted pass interference, no call. I got to remind you, it was Mike Daniels on the play. There's no such thing as face guarding in college football. You can face guard as long as you do not contact the receiver. The officials ruled he didn't. You know, people yell he didn't turn around, he didn't turn around. By rule, you don't have to, as long as you don't contact the receiver.
Easier said than done, I might add, if you're running in that direction. Very tempting to try to make contact to prevent any sort of big play. Sills at his 20 calls for the fair catch. And after a 41-yard punt, the Mountaineers will take over for the first time in the second half when we return here in Dallas.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet? And Land Rover, above and beyond.
Well, a great week here in the Lone Star State, home of the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, as Utah and West Virginia had a chance to break away from their practices by relaxing, taking a trip down to the local driving range, a couple of golf balls. Dana Holgerson looking on and hoping that this could be the drive that gets his team back in it. Rini Golia, Chris Bud, Roy Philpott. They're inside the historic Cotton Bowl Stadium. You never played here, did you? Your days back at UMass?
No, I have not.
No trips here, then? You just walk into the broadcast booth and it just oozes some of the biggest games in college football history. First down carry across the 20 as McCoy picks up a yard. I always love going to those kinds of venues. As you see, West Virginia just 81 total yards, making 82 after that last carry. They've been a first half team this year. The loss of Will Greer, Justin Crawford obviously factored in big time today. Only 14 rushing yards thus far as well. That's a developing story.
And missing 2 offensive linemen, so it's kind of a perfect storm, if you will, for West Virginia.
Elijah Wellman. Inside give ahead to the 24. Light rain starting to fall more steadily. So that also impacts things for both sides. A lot of times you talk to quarterbacks, it's not the rain that bothers you as much,
Wind.
it's more of the wind.
Yeah.
But about halfway through the first half, the rain has subsided, and now it's starting to pick up a little bit. It becomes perhaps more of a factor. It's been really foggy today as well.
Sure has.
3rd down and 6 coming up for the Nears, and they need a first down in the worst way. Chris Chuganoff with a pocket. Flings it. And brought in near the 40. They will rule that incomplete. Karan White unable to drag that left foot inbounds while maintaining possession. Chuganoff led him just a bit too far.
Timing was better on this pass, though, with the receiver just unable to toe tap that last toe. We'll get a look at it here. You know, and it's real easy when we slow it down frame by frame like that to say, listen, he had the toe on the ground and the ball was possessed. Bang, bang call. The officials make it split second, and more times than not, they get it right.
Chuganoff's getting closer, but still not quite there. 7th punt of the afternoon for WVU. Booby Hobbs will get out of the way of that one. Mountaineers bounce. Finally whistled down to the 25. Punt of 51 yards. Utes will take over. 'Tis the season for Bowl Mania. 2 more headed your way later today, 5:15 Eastern. Duke and Northern Illinois, the Quick Lane Bowl. Then at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. 78 years young, K-State head man Bill Snyder leads the Wildcats against UCLA in the Cactus Bowl. Both games are available, of course, on the ESPN app. And Sutton Smith been the sack artist this year for the Huskies. You see the numbers, very impressive.
Former running back is Sutton Smith, who's moved up to linebacker and now plays defensive end as well. He's explosive, and he knows how to make some tackles.
Low snap, Huntley corrals. Here comes the pressure. And nowhere to run, brought down back at the 20. Now Rashid Benton, David Long leading the charge. This game kind of muttering along right now. West Virginia, if it can force a turnover, get a big play somehow on defense, that could be a game changer.
Yeah, and one thing Kyle Whittingham is not happy with, for sure, the bad snaps. The center quarterback combination here in the shotgun just has not been smooth today whatsoever. Luckily, they have not lost any fumbles.
Kyle Whittingham, 10-1 in bowl games in his Utah career. The only coach actively better is Nick Saban. Huntley with time. Simpkins has it, a nice move. Short of the first down, 3rd and long coming up. Elijah Battle belted him to the turf. We'll see if the Mountaineers elect to bring more pressure. This has been the calling card for Tony Gibson. Running that 3-3 stack on 3rd and long. He has relentlessly attacked Tyler Huntley, the sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, and they've been successful when they've dialed it up. So I would anticipate a blitz coming once again here, third and long.
This time just 3-man pressure. Huntley will step up and now be brought down. Short of the 25, David Long again, and what a game he's having.
And that's one of the first times today they've gotten to Huntley for a sack without dialing up the blitz. And that's just great effort by David Long. He steps up, he's playing the right defensive end spot. He's going to spin back to the inside, keep that motor running, and get to Huntley for the sack.
Utes about a touchdown favorite in this contest. West Virginia will take over. 2 sacks on that possession. You can feel the Mountaineers defense gaining confidence. Randy, I think both you and I have kind of been waiting for Utah to find some separation. And on the attempted punt, nowhere to run for Wisnowski. Shane Commodore was able to get back there, and a costly mistake by the Utah special team.
Well, that's the problem when you rugby style kick a lot. You roll out to the right, your protection comes with you, but boy, it's just you're shortening the distance for the defensive team to get to you. They got to him in a hurry, and Wisniewski couldn't do anything. rightfully so, he tries to eat it. The ball actually pops out after the big hit, and a huge special teams play for West Virginia.
A loss of 13 on 4th and long, and new life for the Nears. Wildcat as McCoy checks in as the quarterback. Straight ahead on 1st and goal, nowhere to run. Kennedy McCoy, the sophomore from Lexington, North Carolina. They got to find a way to punch it across the goal line here, Reedy.
Well, and when you go Wildcat, one thing you don't want to do is when you get that step, you don't want to dance with the ball. I mean, you got to go. And the reason why Kennedy McCoy danced with it a little bit is because how stout Utah is up front. They're winning the line of scrimmage, it's not giving him a hole to run to. But you want to get it, you want to pick your read, and you want to go.
Chugging off back in at quarterback. 2nd down and goal from the 10. Halfway through the 3rd quarter. Play action. Chugging-off flings it end zone and incomplete. Gary Jennings, the intended target. Guidry in coverage did all he could to try to make sure that one never had a chance.
Yeah, good coverage. Little hand jockeying by both of them. That's okay. Officials letting them play. Guidry able to turn that head around, play the ball, and it's just a good defensive play.
Javelin Guidry, a freshman from California. Pick 6 earlier this season. 3rd and goal coming up for the Mountaineers. Trailing by 2 touchdowns. They'll go empty for Chugginoff. Surveys. With time, delivers, and it's incomplete. Sims was open, and Chugginoff led him just 2 inches too far again.
Yeah, not only did he lead him, Roy, it sailed on Chugginoff a little bit. You know, he just got a little antsy in the pocket. Yeah, there's bodies flying around him, but that time, this is where you just take that second step up in the pocket and just step through and throw that thing. Really, you want that low and away and let Sims go down and make a catch. This one sails on Chugginoff. Granted, easier said than done. I mean, there's bodies flying around the pocket. He gets hit once again. And the Utah defense is going to hold.
Evan Staley connected from less than 30 earlier today. 26-yard effort here is good. That's a win for the Utah defense after the turnover deep in Utah territory. Under 7 to play in the 3rd. 17-6 our new score. Kendrick Lamar coming up. The halftime performance in the national championship game. Rainey and Golia bobbing his head, trying to pretend like he can dance here in the broadcast booth.
Hey, I got teenage daughters, Roy.
You know a little something.
A little something, something.
17-6 our score. West Virginia 2 red zone trips this afternoon. 2 field goals to show for it. As we mentioned, going out to break, a big win for the Utah defense. After the issue on the punt gave WVU outstanding field position. Chris Bunn's with us on the sidelines as well. Light rain coming down here in the Metroplex. To the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Utah will take over after an 11-yard return.
But just killer for West Virginia. I mean, you get a turnover like that, great field position, you got to put it in the end zone. And it's just it's frustrating for Daniel Holgorsen, but they're missing a lot of players. Again, we've talked about the timing issue with quarterback Chris Chugginoff on the wide receivers, and you can tell it's just a beat off.
It's been a great week for both of these teams here in Dallas. The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Community service, good times all around, and each one of these programs can end their season on a winning note. First down toss, really picked off on the deflection. Now Rashid Benton was able to get a paw on it.
Yeah, one thing that defensive unit for West Virginia, very athletic in that 3-3-5 look, and Rashid Benton drops back and reads Tyler Huntley perfectly, gets up, deflects that ball, and could have easily been intercepted.
And we've called his name a couple of times today. Benton leads the Mountaineers over 100 stops this year. 5th-year senior from Newark, New Jersey. West Virginia, of course, in the Big 12, it's been an adjustment as well for the Mountaineers, like Utah in the Pac-12 this decade. Moss is able to get to the edge in a hard collision as he steps out short the 29. Keen Bailey was on the wrong end of that hit. Bring up third down and short. And Moss gets a little head of steam going. You better look out.
He was really wanted to lay the lumber there to defense back. That time, though, I would have liked to see him put that right foot in the ground right before the sideline, cut it back in, and try to pick up that first down. Lays the big hit, but he stopped short here now. A huge 3rd and 2 for Utah.
Moss now over the century mark with 104 yards. Utes need 2. On the toss, Moss needed to get to the 30. He gets there and then some. That'll move the chains. So with under 6 to play now in the 3rd, Utah begins its next possession with a first down.
And that's all Zach Moss. I mean, Draven Askew-Henry had a chance to make the tackle in the backfield, and Moss breaks the tackle right there, lowers those shoulders, knows where he's got to go to pick up the first down, and he does it. I mean, that's just a good running back, good vision, good power, knowing where he needs to go. It's a nice job.
Hey, what, Rainey took on Adam Schuler, number 88 in blue and gold, all 270 pounds of him. Moss at about 210 pushed Mueller, or make that Schuler backwards. Only off of play action. Gain of 3 on what appeared to be a busted play.
Yeah, he tucked it awful quick, but picked up a few yards there.
Now the Utes signing Huntley out of South Florida. Chose Utah over offers from Louisville, USF, handful of Power 5 schools. He's been battling a shoulder injury for most of this season. Injured that shoulder back on September 22nd against Arizona. People forget, at that time, Utes were 4-0. They were ranked for a couple of weeks mid-season. Huntley's injury kind of changed things, and this time Huntley corralled quickly by Long. David Long has lived in the Utah backfield the first 3 quarters today, and he knows it.
Yeah, and Long gets there again, beating the block from Utah. And when he gets to Huntley, make sure he holds on to that one leg to bring him down. But David Long, the redshirt sophomore, playing well today.
2.5 sacks for number 11 in blue and gold. Was banged up earlier this quarter. Has been dominant since his return. 3rd and 14. Man-to-man pressure for WVU and a flag for delay of game.
Prior to the delay of game, timeout, Utah.
And the Utes will avoid
This
the
will be
5
a
yards.
30-second timeout.
Now Utah with 2 timeouts remaining. This game's still there for the taking, and it's like which side is going to come up with a big play, either for Utah to clinch it or for West Virginia to truly get back in it.
And, 3rd and 14, obviously no team's really built for that, especially Utah. So, again, if you're West Virginia on defense, he has been dialing up some blitzes, has defensive coordinator Tony Gibson. But we've also seen him drop a lot of guys in coverage, and I think that's what he'll do here, trying to look ahead. And then you give him the underneath stuff, just come up and make the tackle, get the ball back for your offense again. And you're right, you just kind of, you look up, and again, they're only down 11. I mean, they're in this game if you're a Mountaineer fan.
See Tony Gibson. But it's almost to the point where you feel like maybe his defense has got to come up with the touchdown,
the pick 6, something like that,
and then that'll change things. Utes perhaps thinking the same thing. 5-man front for WVU. These snaps have been dicey.
Full start, offense, number 69, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Falumaka, guilty party, the starting center, a senior.
Well, and we talked about the low snaps. Give credit to West Virginia. I mean, I think that pressure, the walking up with the blitzes, the center needs to call the blocking schemes. He's watching, he's directing people, and then you forget to concentrate on the most important thing, getting that snap back there correctly to the quarterback.
Part of the design of the 3-3 stack defense. A lot of moving parts. Huntley gets it to Singleton. On the completion, that'll be short of the first down. Bailey in coverage. He'll pick up 13. Needed about 6 more.
Yeah, nice job all the way around, really. West Virginia, keep it in front of them. You're going to get the ball back. But if you're Utah, you picked up some yardage there. So now it's a field position game with your punter. But we remember what happened last time the punter came out. Disaster.
The Mountaineers get another stop. Return game has been electric at times this year with David Sills, Marcus Sims. They're both standing back at the 20-yard line waiting for this punt from Wisnowski. In his second Ray Guy Award voting this year after winning the award last year, honoring the nation's top punter. And the fair catch, no whistle with the contact after a 43-yard punt.
Well, I mean, I didn't see Marcus Sims really get that hand up there big. And the back judge will tell you, if you're going to call fair catch, get that hand up there. Had one wave right there. We had a good look at it. The officials will talk about it now. But no call, and you know, getting the look at it there, he had that one wave up there, and it probably should have been a penalty.
That's a fair catch.
Yeah.
Caleb Rep was the one that brought him down illegally, but no flag. And sometimes, you know, those return men, they get a little
sometimes it's
antsy with the
and sometimes it's low, and that's what I thought it was. But you took a look at that replay, he did get one big wave up there.
Chugunov takes over from his own 20. Another critical possession for the Mountaineers offense. McCoy's been bottled up most of the afternoon. Is so again there. Well, Chris, you've seen Chugunov most of the afternoon. He looks confused down there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he came down after that last drive, went up to Jake Spavital and said, I don't know what happened. He's been in constant communication with Spavital, David Sills, and Will Greer, asking him tons of questions. His teammates trying to keep him upbeat and in this one, but he does seem confused and not really feeling a lot of confidence in his throws.
Utah's front four has had a lot to say about that as well. Jake Spavital, the offensive play caller. Coach Johnny Manziel of Texas A&M. Fling it deep here on the wheel route. Incomplete for McCoy. Adesanya trying to run him down. That play had potential.
Well, and it would have been a tough catch, but when your quarterback's struggling, you got to make those catches for him, right? You got to make those plays. And listen, let's be honest. It's not helping Chris Chugunov at all today as well. They have zero running game. So if you're Utah, you're just kind of pinning your ears back. But again, would have been a tough catch on assignment, but one that you need to make to try to help your quarterback out a little bit.
Stat of the game, just 9% on third down today are the Mountaineers. Jennings in motion, Chugunov with a pocket down the field. Sims brings it in at the 40. And that'll move the sticks. A big-time pitch and catch. A flag on the field as well. After the 20-yard pickup, that could be in the area for roughing the passer. We'll check the penalty.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughing this offense. Number 73. Half the distance to the goal. And out.
Josh Sills, the starting left guard, so it doesn't go in WVU's favor. It's against the Mountaineers, and how costly is that?
Well, and it's the best throw that Chris Chugunov has made all day. Little corner route, he threw it with confidence, on time. Calls on Sills, and he's coming right out of the game, and coaches will get after him there.
Sills, one of the healthy offensive linemen today, part of that mash unit up front. And just came in there late.
Yeah, you saw the a defensive play for Utah is on the ground. You can't do that if you're Josh Sills. You just can't. It's the correct call by the officials.
Adesanya was on the turf, and Sills just attacked him third and long. And Jennings can't bring it in on the crossing pattern. A big-time mistake for WVU. Had the first down and momentum all of a sudden instead. Mountaineers retreat back 10, and we'll have to punt it away.
Yeah, and bad penalties will kill you. I mean, they're almost as bad as a turnover, and in that instance, it is like a turnover. You have the first down, as you said, Roy. You get that 15-yard penalty. Now you're backed up. You got to punt it.
Billy Kinney standing 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Send it to Booby Hobbs from his 42. Hobbs needs a block. Nice cut. Finally brought down inside the 40. After the 48-yard punt, a 17-yard return, in Utah with outstanding field position and plus territory.
Yeah, Hobbs getting that to the left side of the field, picking up some blocks. Good job by Utah. No blocks in the back. Good return.
Well, Friday right here on ESPN, Bowl Mania continues with 2 more contests. First at 4 Eastern, it's the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. 11th ranked Washington takes on Saquon Barkley and number 9 Penn State, followed by Wisconsin and 10th ranked Miami. The Capital One Orange Bowl, it's a home game for the U inside of Hard Rock Stadium. Look out for the turnover chain. Both games available on ESPN, ESPN app.
You got a turnover chain, don't you?
I do not.
Thought you did.
Off the end around, Simpkins wants to throw it. WVU did a great job sniffing that one out from the beginning. That's a loss of 6. Tonkery got there. Now, the turnover chain was one of the big stories in college football this year until the ACC championship game, and then I think things started to change a little bit. But Miami and Wisconsin, like this game, contrasting styles.
Yeah.
Got the high-flying attack of the U, and defense is back versus the ground and pound of Wisconsin. ACC Big Ten matchup.
You saw a little trickery there, or attempted trickery from Utah. Give the secondary of West Virginia credit. Coverage downfield because Simpkins wanted to throw that ball, just nowhere to go with it.
Mountaineers hanging around, but the offense has been inept so far. Defense, after yielding those 59 points in the loss at Oklahoma.
Please reset the game clock to 59 seconds. 5-9 on the game clock. Thank you.
So less than a minute to play here in the third quarter. 2nd and 17 for the Utes. Huntley takes off. Stopped at the 41. Boyus Avery got there. Still time for one more play to close out this third quarter. That's a gain of 5.
Man, it was a called quarterback draw, just trying to get a little something back after the loss. Still 3rd and long here. A chance for the West Virginia defense to step up and make another play.
Utah does have one of the best kickers in the country, the best actually, in Matt Gay. Probably out of his range in this kind of weather. Huntley, the nifty move, far side, Tyler Huntley. Needed to get to the 29, stepped out at the 32. It'll make it 4th and short.
Now, it's a cold day, which does affect the football, but he got it far enough up. It'd be about a 50-yarder from here, which is well within Matt Gay's range. We'll see what Kyle Whittingham chooses to do here.
What will be the final play of our third quarter? A fast-moving Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Only points coming from West Virginia. Trailed by 2 touchdowns at halftime at 17-6 as we begin our final 15 minutes in a defensive-oriented postseason contest. Can the Nears battle back? We're about to find out. Final 15 minutes here at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. 4th down and 3 yards to gain. Needed, rather, for Utah to keep this drive alive. Rini Ngolia, Chris Budden, Roy Philpott. Back in chilly Dallas, Texas. What should be the play of the game thus far. Huntley will go with the empty backfield. Mountaineers showing pressure. They're going to back them up 5 as Utah moved.
Offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Oregon transfer, Darren Carrington. That's a costly mistake.
Well, and especially because it's from a wide receiver. You should never false start, but if you're a wide receiver and you forget the snap count, just look at the ball. Watch down the line of scrimmage. There was a little flinch before that the line judge saw, and now they won't go for it, and rightfully so. Good call by Kyle Whittingham here. Go ahead and punt this and try to pin West Virginia back deep.
Instead of 4th and 3, 4th down and 8. Matt Gay has connected on 2 56-yard field goals in his career. Movement at the line, and that could give those 5 yards right back.
Yeah, and it's gonna, Roy. Same line judge with the call, but that time it's going to be offside. So now we'll see if he sends the offense back on the field and decides to go for it again.
Osman Kamara just tiptoed across the line of scrimmage.
So he'll come over. The referee will come over to see if he wants to decline the penalty. Punt wasn't that great, so I think we'll see.
Offsides, defense number 11, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Going to get David Long.
And you see the offense is huddling back around on the sideline, so they'll send the offense back out. The bottom of the screen, you're going to see the offsides clear as day. Stepped in there, it gets snapped.
And it was Kamara that jumped.
So now we're back. It's a do-over. We're back where we started when we came back from commercial.
And let's see if Utah goes with the empty backfield, and indeed they will. Mountaineers showing pressure and a lot of it. On 4th down, Huntley. Quick toss, caught by Carrington. Stays alive, Carrington. Touchdown, Utes. Flag on the field, back at the 7. Let's check the penalty.
Holding, offense number 11, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now I believe maybe Rodgers, I think this holding's from the spot of the foul. So I think this 1st down, it'll still be good because the holding was way downfield at the 9-yard line. You bring that 10 back, it puts them at the 19. They'll still have a 1st down.
First catch for Darren Carrington since the 2nd quarter. That will negate the 32-yard touchdown.
And Carrington jumps into the end zone, and he's lucky he didn't get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty there as well. Because there's really no need to do that.
Well, the net result of the play is a 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 17. Pretty spin by Moss. Long got him before he picked up 5. So a critical drive here for Utah. Not necessarily trying to put this one away just yet with so much time remaining, but boy, Rainey, if Utah is able to score here, particularly a touchdown, that may be just what they need.
Especially with the apathy of the West Virginia offense, they just have not been able to get anything going whatsoever.
Huntley, RPO, end zone, and incomplete. Boy, a lot of moving parts on that page, on that play rather, is Fakailo Atanga in the end zone.
Well,
tried to reel that one in. He ran out of real estate.
Good call. But we talked about Chugunov kind of off with the timing. Huntley on a few passes today, particularly the RPOs, really timing and rhythm hasn't been on either. But boy, good call. Had the receiver there in the back of the end zone, just could not connect.
A field goal here would make it 2-touchdown game. Certainly value in extending that lead, but a touchdown would mean a lot more. On 3rd down, Huntley off his back foot and incomplete. And here comes a late flag near the goal line. Simpkins, the intended receiver, guarded by Battle. He was literally guarded from behind.
Field judge threw the flag from the other side of the field. They're going to talk about it now. We'll see what the call is.
It's an ACC officiating crew.
So we see the one-on-one coverage
Pass
here.
Interference, defense number 17. Automatic 1st down.
That's a good call from our perspective. His hands were all over him, trying to reach through his forearm there to grab the football.
And remember, every official has a different angle. So one might be straight lined and he doesn't see it. Field judge had a good look at it, back across the ball. He threw the flag and they get the call.
So 1st down and goal. Huntley keeps it. Tyler Huntley to the end zone for the touchdown. His 2nd of the afternoon. And Utah seizes control to start our 4th quarter.
And again, just zone read. Tyler Huntley, so good at running it. Puts it in the belly of Zach Moss. Eyes up. He's reading the defense. Pulls it out. But not only pulls it out, breaks a tackle there as well from Askew Henry. Gets it around the end and gets it in for the score.
Scoring drive taking less than 2.5 minutes. Gay's extra point is true. And the Utes trying to improve to 11-1 under Kyle Whittingham in bowl games, and they are well on their way. 24-6 is Huntley with the honors for the 2nd time. Well, just 85 total yards for West Virginia as we take a look at our game track brought to you by Zaxby's. Zach Moss, 58-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Just enough Tyler Huntley so far, Rainey, to provide this margin.
Yeah, 112 for Zach Moss. Really a quiet 112 if you take away the 58-yard touchdown. You're right. Just enough Tyler Huntley to get them going. But really the story has been the inability of that West Virginia offense to generate anything today.
Mountaineers without their starting quarterback, starting running back, 2 starters on the offensive line. And the return by Pettaway will yield poor field position for the Mountaineers. Well, tonight after the Cactus Bowl, tune into SportsCenter with Nicole Briscoe and Neil Everett. We'll have a conversation with Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney on why this year's journey's been so much harder than last year's. Plus, Cavs guard Isaiah Thomas on what hurt him the most after he was traded for Boston. The best moments from tonight's bowl games. All that and everything else. SportsCenter, 12:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Back here at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. WVU taking over. The Wildcat Pettaway straight ahead. And lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Bradley Anai with the tackle. So Dabo Swinney trying to repeat. A lot of people thinking no Deshaun would be a big-time issue for Clemson. It's been a different team this year, leading the charge with defense. And that Sugar Bowl is going to be interesting against Alabama. 2 defensive-oriented teams with running quarterbacks. Fumble on the exchange. Utah, do the Utes corral it? Around the 15-yard line, the answer is yes. Cody Barton. And it's been that kind of game for the Mountaineers of West Virginia.
And it sure has. And snap comes back, and Chugunov just takes his eyes off it. He was going to put it into the belly of his back, and you could just kind of see there, just really didn't look it in. Drops the ball and hit the nail on the head, Roy. It's been one of those days for West Virginia. And now golden field position here for Utah, taking over in the red zone at the 15.
Nice souvenir for the junior from Salt Lake City, Cody Barton. Second turnover by West Virginia. And a chance to really put the nail in the coffin here. Shovel pass. Nicely designed play brought down at the 11. So we've seen some creativity as Jake Jackson. 4.5-yard gain. You know, Troy Taylor, the offensive play caller for Utah, came to the Utes from Eastern Washington and really, I think, has brought a different sense, a more creative approach in certain situations.
And new terminology, we talked to him about it. It really takes a year for a new system to take off, and I think they've kind of gelled with his terminology and his system the latter part of this year. So really, things look real bright for Utah offensively next year, no doubt.
And we talked with him extensively yesterday, and he had a little glimmer in his eye when we talked about facing the 3-3 stack. I think he liked the matchup with his offensive line with so few defenders typically near the line of scrimmage, not to mention the physicality of Utah's offense. But then with Zach Moss and the job he's done recently, he felt like that they were going to have their way with this West Virginia defense. It took some time today, but eventually that's been the case, and those turnovers have helped out tremendously. 3rd and 3. Simpkins going to throw it wide open, end zone, and incomplete. Another chance. Harrison Handley was wide open. He tripped up over his own 2 feet because he was so excited, and the ball just popped out of there.
Well, and it was a great play by Damari Simpkins. You think he's going to run it on this double reverse. Has the presence of mind to get the throw off with a defender in his face, and it should have been a touchdown pass for Simpkins to Harrison Handley, who just drops the ball. We've seen a few of those today, and boy, going to be some ribbon at these guys.
Well, Jake Jackson dropped. Should have been a long pass play in the first half. Harrison Handley did it there. Gage 26-yard field goal attempt is good. 11:38 remaining in our fourth quarter, and our new score 27-6. It is all Utah in Big D.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, brought to you by Zaxby's, friends, family, flavor. And Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Now, the Cotton Bowl was the longtime home of the annual bowl game known as the Cotton Bowl Classic. It's also host of the Red River Showdown between Texas and OU, and the stadium has been home to many football teams over the years, including the Dallas Cowboys, the SMU Mustangs. Opened way back in 1930 at the cost of just $328,000. That's amazing, and also nicknamed the house that Doak built, of course, the legendary one from SMU. Utes have been legendary so far this afternoon, a 3-touchdown lead, under 12 to play. Chris Button, Rini Angolia, Roy Philpott for the Chile Metroplex. Sims takes it from his 5. Story has been the Utah defense. Sims has had a couple of long returns, another one here up to the 34. Now the Ears will try to figure out what they can do here. Try to scratch and claw their way back in it. Just 84 total yards today. Came into this contest 16th in the country. Nearly 500 per contest coming in, but again, the injuries have played a significant factor. And Dana Holgorsen playing for pride at this point, but certainly still coaching. And he's as intense a head coach as you will find. Chugginoff off the back foot, the deep downfield toss incomplete. Karan White shoved out of bounds. Julian Blackman and Ballard. Outstanding double coverage.
How out of sync, how off has this offense been today for West Virginia? David Sills, their All-American receiver. No catches today.
Well, he's been a different player since Greer went out, unfortunately, for Mountaineer fans. 7 of 23 through the air for just 73 yards for Chugginoff, and you see the numbers. On second down, McCoy. Kennedy McCoy across the 35, a gain of 2. And this has been the story today as well. 3rd down and long, and we know what Utah is going to do here.
Yeah, I mean, it's you as a defensive coordinator, if you get offenses in 3rd and long, it's predictable down and distance, you're going to win more times than not.
Chugging off with time this time. Just as you say that, the pocket collapses. Bradley Anae got him from behind.
And what effort by Bradley Anae. I mean, he's being double teamed on that play from that right defensive end spot. He circles back in, the motor keeps running, and he gets to Chugginoff for the hit. He's just going to fight. He's going to double team here, a tight end and a back. He fights back inside to get to Chugginoff, and I guess they're going to talk to see, was that ball knocked out?
Rolling on the field is an incomplete forward pass.
Looking to see if the arm is moving forward.
Or if Anae knocked that ball out. I think that's a good call, because I think you saw Chugginoff's hand coming forward, but a good job by the officials to come together and talk. But, you know, give Bradley Anae all the credit in the world. Watch this motor here. He's going to come in with that right hand. He does knock the ball, but Chugginoff, as I saw there, had that hand going forward. And so I think they got it correct on the field, but replay's going to take a look at it.
Well, this late, the postseason, you know by now, it's indisputable video evidence. That's what they're looking for. I'm not sure that there's enough there.
Yeah, I'm with you, too. I mean, Anae, the right hand of Anae may have had Chugginoff's arm going forward, but the arm was definitely going forward.
Well, we bring in Rogers Redding, the national coordinator of football officials. And Rogers, how do you see it?
Player hitting him, but I think it's pretty clear that the arm is coming forward, so I'll be shocked if they don't let this stand, maybe even confirm it. But there's not enough there to overturn it in my view.
I like having the expert on site.
No,
it's just
so
it's a
much
huge
easier.
blanket of security for us.
Well, we'll see if we got it right. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, if we get it wrong, it's on you, Rogers. That's the way it works in this business.
I get that part.
It will be deemed an incomplete pass.
Review, replay confirms the ruling on the field. Incomplete pass, 4th down.
So West Virginia Just 5 total yards in the second half, 86 for the game. 2 red zone trips, 2 field goals to show for it. One of those coming after a punt issue deep in Utah territory. And the Utes look to be well on their way to their 7th win 2017 campaign. Kenny gets it out of there. A 44-yard punt. Be 1st and 10 for Utah. Utes lead at 27-6. Here in Dallas, we'll keep it here for a flag on the field. And we'll check the penalty. Jeff McConaughey leading our veteran officiating crew out of the ACC.
Yeah, busy crew today, but done a nice job.
Andy Panucci in the replay booth has also done a nice job.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team number 4, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
There was a Utah helmet that came flying down the field, some 20 yards. I imagine the personal foul penalty resulting as McCoy yanked the helmet loose.
Yeah, you'll see him right down the bottom screen. You saw that helmet come off and just frustration.
For a second. And that was not McCoy, it was Mike Daniels.
Hate the double numbers.
Mike Daniels snuck in there. We'll keep it here 1st and 10 for Utah. Yeah, we've seen a couple of blowouts so far this postseason. This one so far falling under that same category. A lot of times the coaches will tell you it's all about who wants it more, who wants to be there. West Virginia wanted to be here with a chance to end the season strong as Moss bangs his way into plus territory. Zach Moss will gain 17 yards, well over 100 already. Utah wanted to be here. They go back to the basics for training camp, really, as bowl practice began back on campus some 3 weeks ago. And we mentioned the record by head coach Kyle Whittingham. It's going to improve to 11-1. This score holds today. And they make no bones about it. We're going to get back to fundamentals. And it's going to get down and dirty at times. We're happy to be here, but we're also going to go to work. And the numbers speak for themselves and the great job he's done in postseason play since taking over back in 05. Once again, why not? Near side scamper inside the 30. Still on his feet, ushered out at the 28.
You know, I don't really think it was a motivation issue for West Virginia either, but I mean, we kind of chronicled it throughout this game. It's just so many injuries. I mean, you lose Will Greer. You're without 2 starting offensive linemen today. Justin Crawford, your 1,000-yard running back, decides I'm going to skip because my heart's on it. I'm going to get ready for the NFL draft, and it's just kind of the perfect storm of not great stuff in bowl season for West Virginia.
And Dana Holgorsen said, you know, if a guy don't want to be here, we're not going to keep him here. That was a bit of an awkward exit, but you can't fault the guy for wanting to make sure he's going to stay healthy for the NFL draft.
And Dana Holgorsen said it. I completely understand it. But if you're not there with it 100%, you can't be there, and you got to let the next guy step up, and that's what happened.
Moss has stepped up for Utah, 150 yards after rushing for 196 in his last game in the win against Colorado. And for West Virginia, better days are ahead next season as Greer returns. Sills will be back, and not to mention their starting left tackle, Rainey. Yadni Kajas is out today, and he could be the best next-level talent on the team for WVU next season.
Well, Holgorsen said he's the best NFL prospect as we took a look at Will Greer there, and going to be okay from that finger injury.
Huntley lost the football, and West Virginia recovers. Adam Schuler. Look what I found.
A nice job by Schuler to jump on it again. A little zone read. Huntley's going to ride it in the belly, and then that sometimes happens in the zone read. Moss wants to keep it. He tries to pull it out. West Virginia ball when we come back.
27-6. Our score back at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Rini Angolia, Chris Budden, Roy Philpott in chilly Dallas, Texas. It's been all Utah. And we mentioned for West Virginia, better days ahead, primarily because 2 big-time players returned instead of opting for the NFL. Will Grier started quarterback. David Sills led the country in touchdown receptions this year. They could have turned pro, and Dana Holgorsen said it this week. It's like our best recruiting effort has already been completed.
Well, and Will Grier came back, and I think David Sills waited to see, and once Grier pulled the trigger to stay, David Sills said, I'm staying as well.
Chugging mains in a quarterback, off his back foot, pass sails high, and it's going to be picked off. Julian Blackmon brought down inside the 30, his 3rd interception of the season. And after a 23-yard return, the Utes in business once again.
Yeah, and again, just a ball that sails on Chris Chugginoff right into the waiting arms of Julian Blackmon. And it's just been that type of afternoon for West Virginia. I mean, the thing I noticed from Chris Chugginoff on a lot of his passes, they kind of get short-armed. He doesn't step through, and when you don't step through and fire the ball, they tend to sail on you. I've seen it a couple times today, and an easy interception for Julian Blackmon.
3rd turnover for West Virginia. And for Chris Chugginoff, making just his 2nd start. It's felt like that for most of this football game. Moss dragged down behind the line. He'll lose a couple. Adam Schuler, who just recovered the fumble moments ago, the tackle for loss. Mountaineer player injured near the 30. David Long was banged up earlier in this quarter, appears to have hurt himself again.
Yeah, he's been playing well today, has David Long. He's one of the leaders for this West Virginia defense. And obviously someone you don't want to lose.
Two and a half sacks, 6 tackles for number 11 in blue and gold. And will require some assistance in getting up. I'll speculate what the injury is, but at least he's able to walk off under his own power.
He was kind of banged up early on in the year as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cold day, and again, as you say, you don't want to speculate, but a lot of times you get, as a former player, I can tell you get those stingers, you know, just kind of hit a certain way and you get in that shoulder, and it's what we call a stinger. And so hopefully David Long will be okay.
2nd down and 12. Under 8 to play. Utes jumped out early. 58-yard run by Zach Moss. West Virginia added a field goal, was 7-3 in the 2nd quarter. Since then, the Utes have slowly but surely pulled away on the strength of their defense and forcing 3 West Virginia turnovers. Now content to milk the clock. Huntley, sophomore quarterback, looking deep. And now we'll just get down short of the 25. Now Rasheed Benton brought him down.
Yeah, I mean, Huntley decided, rightfully so, I'm going to cut this thing back, stay in bounds, concerted effort, let this clock run and get out of here with a bowl victory.
Quick Lane Bowl coming up. 5:15 start up in Detroit. What a job David Cutcliffe has done turning around the fortunes of Duke, going against one of the top defensive players in the country in Northern Illinois. The game's got a little cachet to it, the Blue Devils, and how he's rebuilt that program this decade. Chance to see an ACC team in action as well. Here's Huntley. 3rd and long, he'll take off. Tyler Huntley takes a hit, dives ahead. Close to 1st down yardage. Benton again. Some extracurricular activity. And for the tackle by number 3 in blue and gold, that's a gain of 9.
Yeah, I mean, just frustration. And Jordan Nakasiva, the big offensive lineman for Utah, finished off a block there late. And then a little frustration from the West Virginia players. And good job by the officials to get in there and break it up. We'll take a look at it here. Watch at the end of this play. You're going to see big number 79 driving his man right over the pile over Tyler Huntley.
came in late. No flag, 4th and inches.
Well, you know, the reason there's no flag, Roy, is he was engaged in him, and he was just driving him downfield. And he just happened to drive him back over Huntley.
So 4th and less than a yard. 6.5 minutes remaining. Mountaineers will call a timeout. See what the Utes decide to do. We return here in Dallas. Pac-12 over the Big 12. Back at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. 27-6. Utes win their 7th game of this season. Queenie Angolia, Chris Button, Roy Philpott. Light mist falling here in the Metroplex. They're all playing for the trophy. Make sure you tune in to ESPN3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. As soon as we are done here, Utes 1 for 2 on 4th down. And we'll call a timeout. So the Mountaineers called a timeout on 4th and inches.
Utah will do the same.
Yeah, just didn't like what they saw. Call that timeout. Regroup.
Well, don't forget New Year's Day. The college football playoff semifinals are back on ESPN. 3rd-ranked Georgia, number 2 Oklahoma will start things off in the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. That'll kick at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific from Pasadena. And it's number 4 Alabama, top-ranked Clemson, the All-State Sugar Bowl from the Superdome in New Orleans. Both games are also streaming live on the ESPN app. Thus far, you see the playoff results. ACC 3-2, tied with the SEC for best in the nation, and still the infancy stages of the college football playoff. So we'll see if that changes after this year.
Yeah, listen, I like the way it's going. I love the 14 playoff right now. I know there's people want to. It's not happening until that contract gets done. But why we love college football, because we can get after it, and passionately argue about it, argue for your teams.
That's what college football fans do the best. They'll fake the toss to Moss. Huntley's got the first down. He'll pick and choose his way inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Utah. Well, I haven't asked you yet. I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
You hear, you read, we saw about the college football playoff. Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma. Who emerges from those semifinal games?
You're going to vehemently disagree with me. I know it, but I think, and I'm usually wrong, so take solace in me saying this, okay, Roy? I think we're going to get a quasi-SEC championship. I think it's going to be Georgia, Alabama.
Wow.
I do.
I don't think a lot of people have considered that possibility because there was not a lot of gnashing of teeth when 2 SEC teams got in.
Yeah.
But if Georgia and Bama both prove victorious, we'll get an all-SEC championship game. Moss straight ahead, little stutter step. And the only thing with Bama, do you trust Jalen Hurts in the downfield passing game?
That's the question. And listen, I love Clemson. And I think Clemson right now going into the game is playing better. But the fact that Alabama has some time to rest, and they've never been the underdog. I know Vegas, you know, for recreational purposes may have them as a favorite, but they're the underdog in this game. And boy, when you have a chip on your shoulder, and I think they will, because a lot of people think they shouldn't even gotten in. I just like Nick Saban in this situation to come out of there with a win.
And you trust Georgia's defense over Baker Mayfield.
I sure do. I do. And that Georgia running attack.
Play action, Huntley towards the end zone, batted away. Hakeem Bailey with 2 hands, mind you, swatted that one away from Carrington's grasp.
Now, I was at that championship game last year in Tampa, Clemson. I mean, it's a phenomenal game. It's the type of game you just love to be at. And I just hope whoever wins, we get another epic battle like that once again.
I think we will. I think it's going to be lower scoring because both teams more predicated on their defense. I'm not sure that Hurts, as a runner, he's dynamic.
He's the big question.
Of course, a lot of people would say the same thing about Kelly Bryant, too. Is he going to be able to throw his way for a Clemson victory? We'll find out. A lot of compelling stories to come with those 2 semifinal matchups. Moss stops short of the 5 on 3rd and goal. And that'll force a field goal attempt once again from Matt Gay, we think. And yes, it will. No, a chance for him to close down his junior campaign nearly perfect. 2 field goals today, both from inside of 30 yards. This one will be as well. The Luke Rosa Award winner sizing up another 3 points. 24-yard effort right between the pipes. What a find he was. These Utah special teams this season. But now take a look at our Capital One player of the game. Quarterback is back, shoulder is healthy. What a job he did directing traffic for the Utah offense, Rini.
He sure did, and you see the pass there as he drops it in the bucket. And then in the run game, he got it going with the zone read, picking apart that West Virginia defense. Great call there for the touchdown, and he just orchestrated this offense today to this win.
Well, improved to 6-4 as a starter. Numbers don't necessarily blow you away, but he was the tactician and methodically put this one away in favor of the Utes. And you look ahead to next season. He's got some weapons coming back. Zach Moss will only be a junior. And for Kyle Whittingham, he was the first to tell us this week, guys, we're a young team. Yeah. We like what we're doing. We've built our brand. And now, year 5, year 6 in the Pac-12, he understands, and this staff understands, what it's going to take to win the conference, and I think he believes they're close.
Yeah, he likes their physicality. Again, just wants to add a few pieces in the skill game, some speed, and he thinks he's right there.
On the return, tripped up across the 30. Mountaineers will take over there as we check into the studio once again with Adnan Burke. Adnan, what do you got? Now Sutton Smith leading the free world in tackles for loss. Done an incredible job. Each just 3.5 tackles for loss to tie the FBS single season record of 32. We'll see if that happens. Mountaineers take over. McCoy, punishing run ahead of the 40.
You know, Sutton Smith was a former running back, as I said, in his first year in a spring game. His offense threw an interception, and from running back, he made such a devastating tackle. His coach said, "You belong on the defensive side of the ball." True story. Yes. And now he's on there leading the nation like that. Unbelievable year for Sutton.
The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. It's been all Utah. McCoy will tap dance behind the line. 3rd down upcoming. So in the semis, you like Bama and Georgia in the championship. If that's how it unfolds, what happens there?
I'd like Bama. I mean, I don't know. I just, something about Saban and that little chip on their shoulder I think they have. And of course, he would be playing an assistant again, and we know how he is against his former assistants. So,
never lost.
Yeah. But again, I'm just an analyst, and I'm usually wrong. So what do you want from me? I like analyzing live stuff, but the predictions can be tough.
Just 3 first downs for West Virginia today. And McCoy trying to make it 4. Needed to cross the 43, and he did. So that'll move the chains.
Now, full disclosure, you're a Clemson alum, proud alum, right?
Well, the only aspect of your commentary I would question is the chip on the shoulder. And I think that's a big question back in the Palmetto State right now. Who has it?
Okay.
Because Clemson beat Alabama last year.
Yes.
But yet as an underdog, as the #1 seed against the 4 seed this year.
Yeah, and the thing about Dabo Swinney, I think he's a genius coach. So I think you're right. I think he'll probably turn that to his players to have that chip.
Chug it off, floats it deep. Pass will be reeled in inside the 20. Gary Jennings tucked it against his shoulder against Boobie Hobbs. Longest play of the afternoon will give West Virginia 38 yards.
Yeah, Hobbs was in good position for coverage there, but Gary Jennings just outworks him and just makes that catch. Ball comes in that right shoulder pad, and Jennings is able to secure it for the nice reception.
2 minutes left to play. Too little, too late. End zone, and White corrals it. And where's that been all afternoon? Karan White, touchdown number 12. And the Mountaineers are on the scoreboard again.
Yeah, a little life from West Virginia there. A little life from Chris Jugganoff. 2 big completions in a row. Karan White now might have got away with a little push there. I was waiting for the flag to come, maybe an offensive interference called. doesn't get it, and the touchdown will stand.
And the Mountaineers will go for 2 to try to make this 2-score game. 67 yards in 5 plays in just over 2 minutes.
Yeah. You're right. Where's it been?
Well, White with a filthy shove was able to create that separation. That's one way to do it.
It's only a penalty if they call it.
That's right. And it worked. Karan White, his older brother, of course, Kevin White, started WVU. He's been injured this year with the Chicago Bears. It's Kevin White. Checking off under center. Contact made as the Utes jumped across the line.
Well, not only that, 72 Kelby Wickline, the tackle, is out in the slot position as well. So some trickeration there, but there's going to be a penalty.
Offside, defense number 90, contacting an offensive lineman. Half distance to the goal, we will replay the try.
Put it at the 1.5. 1:58 remaining for this 2-point try. McCoy, the Wildcat, as Jennings goes in motion. The jump pass, and West Virginia cashes in. Now that's one way to do it.
And this was the West Virginia offense we expected to see early on in this game. A couple big completions. Nice call for the 2-point conversion. A little jump pass. And a little life in the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Wesco, the reserve tight end. This halfback / fullback role. Trayvon Wesco, the junior from Martinsburg, West Virginia. Second catch all season, and that one count for 2. So now the onside kick coming, and we'll see if the Mountaineers can truly make this one interesting. You just never know.
Not in this game. I've seen it all.
Utah with its hands team on the field, expecting an onside opportunity here. Evan Staley on the field, as is Billy Kinney. Looking for some misdirection from one of these 2 kickers. The soft bounce, it's got to go 10 yards. Did West Virginia recover?
I believe they did, Roy.
It looked as if it may have.
And it was a great job by the West Virginia player. I'm not sure who it was, but he waited for it to make sure it went 10 before he jumped down to recover it. Phenomenal job. Now it's got to go 10. Hasn't gone it. Right there is good.
Jaden Johnston.
I mean, a phenomenal job by him to understand the ball needs to go 10. He waits. Now the thing was, Utah's kind of looking at, they don't have to look at it. They can jump on the ball. They don't. And West Virginia comes up with this ball.
New life for the Mountaineers. Couple of timeouts to work with. Chugging off, hoping he's got a hot hand, flings it deep. White, and it's going to be picked off at the 25. The interception, the second of the day for Julian Blackman. And a fitting way for this game to effectively come to a conclusion.
Yeah, Blackman's first interception was a gift overthrow. That time he makes one heck of a play as he goes up to make this catch. Chugging off, trying to make something happen, forces it into double coverage. But Blackman goes up underneath, makes that interception. He's telling you, yep, I got 2 for the day.
And that'll just about do it. Utah's going to win its 7th ball game this year. West Virginia will fall to 7-6. And for the Utes, after forcing 4 turnovers, hoping this will be a springboard into 2018. You think about all the close losses this season. 1-point setback at the Coliseum against USC. 3-point loss to Washington.
Yeah.
Blew a touchdown lead late in the final 2 minutes. 3-point loss against Stanford. Very competitive against Luke Falk and Washington State. A 1-possession game. All those close losses, a lot of times you see it in football, Rainey. You know it from your days back in UMass and the NFL. They flip around the next season, especially if you have a lot of talent coming back.
And I know you mentioned it earlier, but how about Kyle Whittingham? I just don't think he gets enough credit. He's going to be 11-1 in bowl games now.
Only coach that's really been better is Nick Saban.
Pretty good company.
New quarterback for Utah, Drew Lisk. And the handoff across the 30. The minute to play. It's been a fun season for us, Rainey. I know you've enjoyed your time. I have as well. What will be my final call of the season? And Chris Button on the sidelines doing her best trying to stay warm. I know she's been active. She has another bowl game or two left on her plate. We'll sit back and watch remaining postseason games as well as the college football playoff. Always a fun time.
It's my favorite time of the year. You get the holidays, football. For a guy like me, it doesn't get any better.
And one more touchdown there and one more kneel for Lisk, and that'll do it. Big win for the Utes. 30-14 as time winds down. And for Utah, 11-1 in bowl games now under Kyle Whittingham. 7-6 mark this year. A lot of key players returning next season. A springboard perhaps into 2018 after this victory. As both coaches shake hands. And Dana Holgorsen back to the drawing board with his stars returning healthy next season as well.
That's the big key for West Virginia. Healthy, get back together, and they'll be good next year.
Chris Button with Kyle Whittingham on the field. Chris.
Coach, your defense played outstanding today. What can you say about them, especially the guys up front and those seniors?
Yeah, the senior defensive linemen, Lowell and Filippo and Kylie Fitz, played outstanding from start to finish. And we're going to miss those guys. That's a good group of D linemen. And I got a hunch that we'll be watching them play for a little bit longer.
This was a team started off 4-0, and you lost a couple games by only one possession. What did you say to the team to get them to continue believing in themselves?
Well, we knew we were a good football team all season long, even though we lost some tough, close ones. Never stop believing. Give the seniors a great deal of the credit, in fact, all the credit for keeping things together. We had great senior leadership this year, and we're proud of those guys. And this team has a lot of fight. You saw that today.
I know you're going to say nothing's about you, but 11-1 in bowls. What's the secret?
We're just lucky that way.
Appreciate it.
Luck has nothing to do with it.
Work hard.
Kyle Whittingham improves to 11-1 as head coach at Utah in postseason play. Our final score, 30-14, as the Utes improve to 7-6. West Virginia falls to 7-6 as well. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon from Dallas. We send you back to the studio right now.